Hi everyone. Okay, so this is the planetary aspects, alignments, the alignments, aspects, and the degrees. So for um, March 2025, mid-month to the end of the month. So take a screenshot for your own reference, so you can match it to your birth chart, and to see if any of these degrees hit anything in your birth chart. And then I will not have an introduction this time around. I will be going into right away into each sign because you guys don't listen to the introduction. um, and it's just a waste of your time, I guess, and my time. But yeah, this time around, I'm not doing an introduction. So I am going to get straight into each sign, and we're going to begin with Aries. All right. Well, this is the third attempt at recording this because everybody and their mom is screaming in these buildings, and my dog is barking. Okay, let's start over. Hi, Libra. Libra, this is your March 2025 mid-month to end of the month scope, and I will be only concentrating on a few major aspects for both this week and next week. Um, as I'll just delve deeper into them, as I've already explained these aspects in your March forecast. But if you remember, I also mentioned that there's so much going on that I would be breaking up the month as such, and maybe you can glean some more information or new information regarding these aspects. Also, when I mention dates, please do not get fixated on the dates. It is not about that day, that hour, that minute that these aspects are happening. Um, I'm discussing the major aspects. So they could have even happened a week before, a few days before. You can be feeling it throughout the whole week, and definitely they'll be reverberating in the future, as we also have two important planets that are retrograde. So yeah, I might mention the dates because it just helps me when I go chronologically. But as far as you're concerned, try to focus more on the aspect and its meaning. Okay, so early this week, we had Mercury retrograde in Aries that semi-squared Uranus and Taurus. Now, Aries is your seventh house of partnerships, personal, business, platonic. Anyone really can be a partner if they know you really well. So, a sister can be a partner, a son can be a partner, a friend can be a partner, and so on. And Aries is, I'm sorry, rather, that's Aries for you. Taurus for you is your eighth house of joint finances, intimacy, inheritance, the past, taboo, taxes, government benefits. Um, I think I'm missing one component, but that's me. Oh, credits, banks, and loans. It rules Pluto as well. All right. So what's happening here is that there's a rediscussion, rethinking, renegotiate, renegotiating from a partner, or um, you're renegotiating with a partner. But there's a square is a tense aspect, and it's a semi-square, so it's a quick aspect though. And squares, jumpstart things, but there's something surprising or shocking that may be revealed in your eighth house of intimacy. Like I said, joint finances or government benefits or inheritance, or it is the house of sex, death, and taxes. And death usually means death and rebirth. No astrologer knows death. That's God's territory. Um, but but yes, it is that house. So there's something surprising in regards to that when you are in communication with a partner, or a partner is communicating with you, or it's about communications between you two. So that starts out the week, and there's again, I'm not, you can see the other aspects on the chart that I threw up in the beginning of the video. But like I mentioned, I'm only going to discuss the major aspects, so I'm not discussing the moon. The moon is a fleeting aspect. It's 2.5 days. So the next most important aspect that I want to discuss with you today, it really is starting on Wednesday. Sun conjuncts Neptune in Pisces, and Chiron in Aries squares Mars in Cancer. I'm going to discuss that a little bit later when it's exact. It's still a degree apart, even though that's still close enough. But what's most important on starting Wednesday, and again for this week, would be the Sun conjunct Neptune. Pisces is your sixth house of health, habits, routine, scheduling, um, any kind of rituals, um, small pets, taking care of someone. It is the house of chaos and gossip. And Pisces also rules natally the 12th house of secrets, the past, of faith, spirituality, of your psyche, confining spaces, and also taking care of people or someone. So what and a conjunction is it's neither a good aspect nor a bad aspect. It's it's a serious aspect. It's something of a revelation, of a realization. So, and the sun is a powerful planet as well as Neptune. Neptune is an outer planet, but the sun is more of somebody um, in authority maybe over us, or we respect their authority. It rules Leo, uh, and it's a very compassionate sign as well. So there's what this is signifying, because it's conjuncting Neptune at the very critical 29 degrees, which is the ending degrees of this very long 14-year journey with Neptune. Here, this conjunction um, translates into some kind of a struggle um, with the ethereal, Neptune, and the real, the Sun, with faith, Neptune, and facts, the Sun, with your hopes, wishes, and dreams, or do you throw that all away and be sensible? That's what this struggle is signifying. There's something here um, that you have to make a decision on. And no one can really make this decision for you. It really is, and it depends really on where you are in life. So, but I will just throw in that if we do not pursue hopes, there's always um, what if that can really weigh heavy on our psyche. But it is at that very last degree, so it's it's like, do we hang on to that very thin thread of hope and just uh, forget sensibility, or do we say, well, we've reached the end of the rope, figuratively, and we should just be sensible? Again, it is a decision that only you can make, and it depends on where you are in life. Now, the next day, again, don't get fixated on the dates. The sun enters Aries, and it is the spring equinox. Uh, this is a very, very special spring equinox. Um, I mean, every year during this time around, the sun enters Aries, and something new and fresh. Well, you do a checkup. The sun shines a light here on your Aries house, which is your house of partnerships, and you do a checkup here. And with the spring, with freshness and newness, we reinvent uh, this area around this time. Every time we wish for the best, we set our intentions, and it in the recent years, it's been in regards to whatever the outer planets were doing in whatever areas of our life. We look to Aries to start over, to reinvent something. This year, since all planets are changing signs, all the major outer planets are changing signs, this is a new spring, a fresh new spring, a very exhilarating beginning of a new era, a fiery spring. It is going to be um, very prevalent that it is spring. It is a new era, uh, uh, and all of us are going to be excited towards this. So, uh, for you, it is a very important house for you. It is your partnership house. So, and Venus and Mercury have already been through Aries now. Um, so you've had discussions, you've had negotiations, agreements, talk, thinking, and you've also expressed desires, because Venus is that it attracts love, money, fame, fortune, and she is also your ruler. So very important. You already have been through these degrees of Aries that the sun now is illuminating. So there is something new about your partnership here, Libra. And one, it could be that you have been dating someone and you are going steady now. You're choosing to become serious, or you've been engaged and now you are setting a marriage date, or you're getting married here, or you might be renewing your vows. So it could be that, or you as a couple are maybe um, embarking on a new journey as a couple. Maybe you're becoming parents, or maybe your children are going off to school. And of course, there's some Aries that are going through a divorce or a separation, of some sort. So that also falls into this new spring era, this new Aries era um, that's going to hit us, and you will feel it. Because on the same day, also Venus will station retrograde. That's going to affect you a lot. And pay attention to whenever a planet stations direct or retrograde, because we sometimes do get like a clue, or a veil is lifted, and we do get a sneak peek here. So pay attention to these few days. But now with Venus going retrograde, there could be several things. One is whatever you desired um, while Venus was direct, you will be now reviewing regarding a partner or with a partner before you go on to the next step. The second is Venus retrograde uh, definitely can bring in a past lover, partner, or romance. And if you are able to survive this retrograde, and you're strong as a rock when it goes direct, then it's a forever type of a deal. The other thing Venus can do, and you're very well of her energy, she does rule you. She rules you and Taurus. Is that she can show her ugly side. She can be bitchy. There, I said it. Uh, um, when she's retrograde, like I said, if she gives, when she's direct, she withdraws. Or when she retrogrades, and you may see a partnership sort of struggle during this period. Again, if you're able to survive this period, then you're solid as a rock. And I'm not talking about little petty arguments. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like serious issues. If they come up, and you're able to survive, then you're fine. Uh, the other thing is with Venus retrograde, actually, can your your partnership can get even more committed, because it's going deep down and under. So it can be in those sense, and it really depends on how she's situated in your chart and what your experience has been with Venus in your chart. But this is a rare retrograde, and you will be affected. You will be one of the signs that will be affected most with this Venus retrograde. All right. Now we're on to um, March 21st. Venus retrograde in Aries will sextile Pluto in Aquarius, and this is a nice aspect, as it is a supportive aspect. The sextile is a supportive aspect. Again, Aries is your partnership house. Aquarius is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. And gambling can mean, yes, like casino gambling or any type of gambling, but it is also like the gamble you take on life. The fifth house is a very light, fun house. It's not a committed uh, love romance house. It's the house of fun and entertainment. Now, what this sextile could mean, again, it can mean a number of things. Uh, Maybe a romance, like I said, you're trying to take it to the next level, and when it's in review here with Venus retrograde, you get that thumbs up that, yeah, your partner or your lover or romance wants to go to the next level as well. Or it can be about your child. The fifth house can be about children. Maybe here you hear about having children, or maybe your child uh, is somehow the anchor between you and a partner, or you and a partner can be seeing this child off to school, or what have you. Now, I will note that, uh, like I said, it is a supportive aspect. However, um, because Venus is retrograde and because it's Pluto, there will be some type of a power, um, and for a lack of a better word, because I can't think of one now, power issue, or maybe a power play here, because it's Pluto. And this sextile did happen back in the beginning of February, okay, between Venus and Pluto when Venus was direct. And now it's doing it again while it's retrograde, and it will do it for the third and final time in the beginning of May. I believe it's either May 6th or 7th. But again, these are heavy duty planets, so it's not really that specific day. But yeah, it'll do it again here. So there's a reason that Venus is hitting these areas with Pluto 3 different times. So yeah, pay attention of what's going on between a partnership and a child, or a partnership regarding a romance, or anything like that. Okay, Then the next day, there goes my pug again. At least he's in another room, but I know you can hear him in the background. I apologize. All right, the next day, Venus retrograde will be in Aries, will be Kazemi, and Kazemi simply means in the heart of the sun. So, and it was Kazemi when it was direct. So now it's retrograde. So the sun is, I mean, it's a powerful aspect here because it's Kazemi. It's right in the heart of the sun. And when it was direct, it was illuminating your desire regarding partnerships or undesire. But here with retrograde, you're reviewing that desire. This sun is shining a light of how you feel inside regarding this desire. Okay, it's about you. And before that, it might have been about a partnership, or your partner was in the forefront, but really the light was shining on you. Um, yeah, that's what happened. Now, the other thing I want to discuss with you is this same day, we're into the weekend now, is the last quarter moon in Capricorn. And this is pretty significant because I don't know if you remember, I mentioned before, is really this February, March, and maybe some of April period is the wrap up of January, February, and is an extension what happened last fall. But that's a little confusing. Don't worry about that if that doesn't make sense to you. But in regards to this last quarter moon, a last quarter moon is uh, the one stage before a full moon. So it's heralding an ending. It's heralding the full moon that we will have in Capricorn, the culmination of our efforts. And this last quarter moon uh, is in reference to the new moon in Capricorn we had on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And you either had a new opportunity or you seeded your intent, your hope for an opportunity regarding your home, family, your parents, country, clan, your patriotism. That's the fourth house. It's your very emotionally rooted house. And I'm not going to go into detail about Capricorn and you, because it has been a very painful 18-year journey, but a very cathartic, probably, hopefully, healing house for you. But yeah, I'm not going to touch that. I just want to let you know that here a long issue is coming to a finale. Maybe a uh, tiresome process that you have invested a lot of time and energy in here comes to a close. But it's doing. There's some sort of an equitable agreement between two parties here, uh, and again, it may make sense to some people and it may not. But to those people who know what I'm talking about, here you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Um, you set your disputes to the side, and there's an agreement between the two of you. Um, and this agreement, any agreement really, there's sacrifices on both ends between both parties, but it's a small price to pay for this release and relief that you are going to happily grab with both hands. It may at first feel melancholy, or like you feel sorry, or something like that. But it's a moon. It's a fleeting aspect, and it's do not get too bogged down with that feeling, as you will be finally free, and that is your aim and your goal here. And I'm stressing that for Libras because you are a very, very powerful sign. You're a cardinal sign, an air sign, but you tend to uh, be indecisive. So do not slip back into like, oh yeah, okay, I can give up more, or whatever. Don't. I mean, you are going to have to give in somehow here, but and there will be no hard feelings on either side because of what's at stake. So, yeah, that's the last quarter moon. It's showing you the ending, the culmination of a very long process that you've been through. All right, and then we go on to the sun now in Aries, sextiles Pluto in Aquarius. Now, it was before it was Venus retrograde sextiling Pluto in Aquarius, and I already explained that. Now it's the sun, and again, sextile is a supportive aspect, but here now you have the sun and Pluto. So this is getting a little serious. Uh, this I can um, confidently. That's not very confident, right? Um, this can be a power play. a control issue here. Um, Things that may have come up with just when Venus started retrograding and you started digging a little deeper, you may sense some kind of a power play here. Now, uh, this is the thing with Pluto. Oh, I'm coming at the 30-minute mark, so let me just start another. Okay, so yes, the Sun in Aries, sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. Again, very supportive. However, now we are dealing with a powerful Sun and a very powerful Pluto. And Pluto rules power, control, fear, and all that. Pluto is about secrets. It's about the underworld and the riches and riches of the underworld. So the gold, minerals, and diamonds, even seeds. We plant them in the underworld, and they sprout and grow up to be very strong trees. Um, so it's that power potential, and what what Pluto tries to teach us is that that power is within us. And I've given, the analogy of going into a dark room and being fearful, but if you stand very still, the light at the back of your eyes will start making out objects. So, in the sense with Pluto and stillness, it's discipline. It's complete discipline, and not really rising to the occasion, not like Mars, but it's about being disciplined in listening and seeing, because that's where your power is. It's a buried treasure within you. Um, and the Sun is the compassionate father. Um, it is also an authority figure. So what I'm trying to say, Libra, here is there's going to be some kind of power play, some kind of a control issue, and it's aspecting both your partnership house and your fifth house of love, romance, and children. So, whatever power play that comes up, whatever control issue that comes up here, um, one, do not fear it. Second, um, how do they say it? Silence is golden. Just if somebody's coming at you, uh, even not like forcefully, but maybe in a tricking aspect, maybe in some kind of power play, being still and listening. Um, um, Gets that other person also to stop and hear themselves and you. So just draw on discipline. Draw on discipline. Don't be. I'm not saying be a doormat. I'm just saying listen carefully and then choose your words carefully. It is Pluto, and Pluto doesn't take prisoners. And then it is the Sun. So this is a powerful aspect, uh, and I just want you to be aware of any control or fear tactics. All right. Now, on the beginning of next week, we will have now Mercury retrograde in Aries Kazimi, again, the heart of the Sun. Now, when I said before, like ignore dates, um, yes, but with this aspect, don't ignore the date. Uh, uh, because this is a 1 day type of deal. Okay, it is renewed, fresh energy. You're rethinking, rediscussing, renegotiating with a partner that you've already had this conversation with, but it's a powerful illumination, maybe like a jolt of fresh new idea being applied, and whatever call that you miss, call back right away, or text back right away, or take this opportunity to renegotiate uh, on this day. So pay attention to this day and the communications taking place, because it is a marker. Because Mercury will shortly station direct and go direct again. All right, moving on, we do have now Mercury retrograde in Aries, sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. So again, it's that power play that I was talking to you about, or maybe control issue, or what have you. Now it's first it was Venus, your desire, then it was the Sun, illumination. Now it's Mercury, so it's renegotiating, rediscussing, rethinking with that. Uh, Chiron in Aries squares Mars in Cancer. Again, I'll explain that a little later as it gets more exact. But you can see when I say don't pay attention to that single day, except for the Mercury Kazemi, because it's playing out in the background. So yes, the middle of next week we have Mars in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries. Cancer for you, Libra, is your 10th house of it is your 10th house of career, status, reputation, and authority figures. Um, Cancer also rules natally the fourth house of home and family, parents, uh, Also, Cancer rules the mother or matriarchal figure, and it is squaring a tense aspect, Chiron in Aries. And Chiron is the wounded healer. So, a past wound, a hurt regarding partnerships, regarding your partner. Um, and Chiron was also known as the Maverick, uh, because he had this wound that would never heal, and he was given the option of whether to live with it or to just pass away. And he chose to live with it. And how he was able to live with it was he started teaching others about his wound, about how he got it and how he's felt and how he's dealt with it. But he did it in a unique way, like a maverick way. So here, do not be afraid to be a maverick regarding whatever hurt you had in the past regarding a partnership. Uh, Discuss it maybe in a teaching way, but use your own unique style of it, because here, uh, this tense aspect regarding your reputation or status, or maybe dealing with an authority figure, is bringing up this past wound. Okay, and it's exact here in the middle of the week, and it will start releasing after this, but it'll still be in the background. Also, on this day, Venus will station retrograde in Aries. Did I mention? I'm sorry, Libra. I'm just. Oh, yes, I see. Okay, yeah. So Venus stations retro. Well, it's already retrograde, but it's finishing up with Aries at 00 degrees, because it's about to go into Pisces. Because the next day, Venus will conjunct Neptune in Pisces at that very critical 29 degrees. Okay, now it's getting serious. It's starting to let's tango. um, and then on Friday, it's the moon, Venus retrograde, um, and the North Node all conjuncting Neptune in Pisces at that very important critical 29 degrees of the ending. And Mercury will catch up the day after. And the moon enters Aries, but we'll discuss that. I know I don't discuss moons, but when it's important, I will. So here, Libra, what is happening is this is a very, very strong, powerful, overwhelming type of an aspect. And what it's signifying is we're going back to something. We're going back to something we know will not work out, and or we're going back to someone who uh, we were not good with, and we know it's going to be a very dysfunctional, upsetting situation. But there is a reason. Um, there is a compelling reason, a very compelling, compassionate reason that we're doing this. And the universe would not allow us to step back into something, air quotes, bad. However, the universe is also agreeing with this because it's holding the door open. Because sometimes we do have to take one step back in order to move two steps forward. There, there needs to be a return to this, uh, because there's something important there. It might be a partner. It might be about children. It might be about a lover. It might be about a parent or parents. It might be something crucial that is needing our help, because the world that we've left behind, that maybe they're there, that world is collapsed. It has um, disintegrated. There's nothing there, and we do not want to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Um, we want, and we can see that in the news as well, with all these government structures and agencies that are not useful anymore. They are dinosaur age. They are you know inefficient, and they need to be dismantled. But we can also see that they're rehiring some people, or keeping some agencies open for a specific reason, because you know things need to function. So same with us on a personal level. We are going back to our Pisces related house, because that world has collapsed. That era has ended, and we need to save whatever it is we need to save. There, not to rebuild that world, because there is no world to rebuild anymore. It's the end of that era. But out of compassion, we will be stepping back, um, so that when we go forward, we are on solid footing. I don't know if that makes sense. If it is confusing for you, I don't blame you, because it's Pisces, and now I'm confused. Oh God, I'm laughing with you guys. Remember, I'm going through these same energies too, but I'm trying to explain it the best way I can. And hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, you can absolutely, put your questions in the comments. But you will also see when Venus and Mercury start going direct, um, you will see that you do not fit in that world anymore, regardless of compassion or forgiveness. But you will feel better because you did embrace the humanity in you, and showed some compassion. And when it goes direct, then you'll be able to leave that behind you and forgive yourself first. It's very important, and then you can forgive others. And also remember, I've said this in your February think and your March scope, is um, Venus is really important here. Not only because she's your ruler, but because she's an important critical planet, and Mercury too. As I mentioned before, this is a movie trailer of how this year will play out. Uh, this retrograde, this going back, this compassion, this forgiveness, this will play out at the latter half of the year when all these planets retrograde back into the previous signs, except for Jupiter. But yeah, this is what it is telling you. Now, I mentioned that Moon enters Aries, and why it's important and why I'm mentioning it is because the next day, this new moon will be a partial solar eclipse in Aries. And it will also semi-square Uranus and Taurus. Um, while Mercury retrograde will conjunct Neptune and Pisces. Hey, Mercury, you're late to the party. But here, Mercury catches up with everyone back into Pisces. And then we still have the Mars in Cancer, squaring Chiron and Aries. So this new moon partial solar eclipse is a new opportunity. Okay. And it is an eclipse. So it's not, again, it's not on this day. An eclipse is an unfolding book, a story with different chapters. So this new opportunity you'll be made aware of, uh, and it will unfold in different stages in a few months, culminating with I think, a total lunar or total solar eclipse in some other sign, because this is the last eclipse in Aries of the series of eclipses that started about 18 months ago, a year and a half ago. But it is your partnership house. So there is some kind of a new opportunity, or since it's partial solar eclipse, it might be a component of a partnership that's being highlighted here. And with the semi-square to Uranus and Taurus, again, it is a tense aspect, but it is like a quick aspect. And squares are not. Sorry, I'm recording this midday, so there's a lot of traffic. I'm in Chicago. Um, the semi-square is a tense aspect, but squares are also good in the sense that they jumpstart things that are stale, that you want to resolve. So, and it's Uranus, so it's the planet of shock and surprise. And Taurus is your joint finances, intimacy, and your tax house, death and rebirth. So there will be some surprising element with this new opportunity. And it since Taurus also rules natally the second house of job, income, and value system, it might have to do with that as well. Um, yeah, but it's an unfolding story. And then on March 30th, Neptune, drumroll please, or I don't know what that Simba song. Oh my God, I should have learned it. And if I wasn't so far into uh, this this recording, I would have stopped it, re-recorded it, and sung it for you guys. So yeah, starting the end of the month and forward, you will feel this yearning, this desire um, of a new, again, spring equinox, a new, fiery, compassionate type of a partnership. You'll desire that. And if you are already in a partnership, that your partnership will start exemplifying that. And the universe at this time and period is saying that's where you need to be. Um, and that brings us to the end of the month, Libra. So I hope I gave you a little bit more information. If you didn't have it before, I might be doing a standalone video for the solar eclipse in Aries by maybe next week if I have time, if I'm not bogged down with your April scope. All right. I enjoyed doing your video, and you can see yours is the longest, it's as long as Aries, but well deserved, because it is quite important for you. If you have any questions, throw them down in the comments. Also, with Neptune being at the very critical 29th degree, and and all these planets going back there, you might have really vivid dreams, or maybe even confusing dreams. But I do interpret dreams, so I'd love to uh, have fun with that. Maybe you can have fun with that if you want to throw any dreams in the comments and see what they mean. All right, Libra, I will talk to you hopefully next week, either with the solar eclipse or your April scope. Hi, Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, this is your mid-month to end of the month scope, and I'll be discussing only the major aspects, as I have already discussed these aspects in your March scope. But I said since there's so much going on, that I would be breaking it up like this to maybe remind you, or maybe you'll glean some more information from it. And when I say dates, please do not fixate on the dates. It is not about that hour, that day, that minute that these aspects are happening. Because you could have been feeling this before or during the week, and definitely you'll be feeling them because they'll be reverberating in the future. We do have two important planets that are retrograde. So yeah, concentrate more on the aspect and in the meaning rather than the day. I'll be mentioning dates just to help me as I'm going chronologically. Okay, so this week we started off with Mercury retrograde in Aries, semi-squaring Uranus in Taurus. Now, Aries is your sixth house of health, habits, routines, scheduling, any kind of ritual, uh, taking care of someone, and it is the house of chaos and gossip. Aries also natally rules the first house of image and appearance. And Taurus for you is your seventh house of partnerships, personal, business, platonic, and anyone who really knows you very well, who can hold up a mirror to you. So, a lover can be a partner, yes, a brother, a sister, your child, well, adult child. So, any kind of partnership. And Taurus also rules natally the second house of job, income, and value system. And it is quite a fixed sign. So you've had these discussions regarding habits and routines or health previously, and now you're rediscussing them, rethinking them. Uh, and it might have been triggered by a surprise from a partner, or you could have, with what you're rediscussing, surprised a partner. So that's how we start off, and we will have the same aspect when Mercury goes direct. Now, when it really starts to shake and bake is midweek and forward. So on March 19th, we have the Sun conjunct Neptune at the very critical 29 degrees of Pisces. And Pisces for you is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. Sorry about that. I'm in Chicago. And yeah, I'm doing this midday, so there's a lot of traffic noise out there. So the house of children, creativity, and gambling. And it can be, yes, like casino gambling, or any kind of gambling, but it is also the gamble on life. It is the house of fun. It is not about contractual love. It is true love, true romance, but the house of fun and entertainment. And excuse me, this conjunction is neither air quotes bad or good. It is a serious conjunction because it's the sun. The sun is very powerful, and Neptune is also quite powerful. So there might be also an authority figure of some sort involved in here. And what this signals really, Scorpio, is there is feelings of nostalgia, of old things, of past events, but this conjunction is a kind of a struggle between the ethereal and the real. Uh, Faith in face of facts. Do you pursue your hopes, dreams, and wishes, or do you just chalk it up, throw it away, and be sensible? That's what this is signifying. And no one can really make that decision for you, because it is a very personal decision. It is also where you are at life, where you are right now with this house, and with other areas of your life. Um, However, I will tell you that the saying goes is if you discard faith and hope, um, or just hanging on, if you do that, there's always the what if. Um, what if it it changed? And also, I don't know if you've experienced this, but it's like always at the 11th hour, something magically happens, or when we no longer want it, and then boom, it happens. So it's that type of energy that's playing out. Now, towards the end of the week, the sun will enter Aries, and it will be the spring equinox. And this is a fresh, new energy that is heralding in the birth of a new era. So every year, the moon, or the sun rather, enters Aries around this time. So every year, um, we reinvent something regarding the spring. We're hopeful for when the spring starts. Oh my God, these sirens. We're between eclipses. So I'll let it pass. I'm in Chicago. I think I said that. So yeah, maybe take that as like an omen or something. No, I'm joking. We are between eclipses. You never know. But in any case, yes, moving on. So every year around this time, the sun enters Aries, and we are rejuvenated and hopeful, and we try to reinvent something with uh, whatever the outer planets are changing, whatever areas of our life, and we look to this spring to reinvent that area in hopes to solve whatever issues we are having in other areas of our life. But this spring equinox, this spring is completely different because it is ground zero, new start, new spring. It is a new era, a new fiery era, a new rejuvenated spring. And I gave you the example in the March scope, I believe, was something like Lion King, his son Simba, when he was born, and that monkey guru guy, held up Simba into the rays of the sun, and all the animals, were broke out in tributary songs and all that, because he is the long-awaited hope. And and this is what it is. This is what this spring equinox is. We are all wanting this hope of this um, compassionate hero. And I know that's been used ad nauseum, but it really is about somebody powerful, fiery, go-getter, straight shooter, but who is compassionate. And this is what it's heralding. In regards to your health, um, definitely, and your habits and your routines. You're going to be either starting a new health regime, maybe yoga, maybe a rigorous exercise schedule or something, or you're going to be in longing for, desiring some kind of a routine and a schedule and a health that is like if you're a man, like you want to be Adonis, Apollo. They got Apollo. Or if you're a woman, you want to be uh, not really Venus, because Venus is more feminine. So maybe like Sagittarius. That Diana with her dog running in the woods and things like that. Because like I said, Aries does also rule the image and appearance. So, and you had Mercury and Venus here, so it is in the background. You have been thinking about this, and this is what it's heralding. It's quite important. Now, on the same day, Venus will station retrograde. So also pay attention to these few days, as whenever a planet stations, either direct or retrograde, there is a chance of us getting a sneak peek behind the veil to see what this retrograde is about. As well as, like I just mentioned jokingly, we are between eclipses. So there is the weird stuff that happens, synchronicity. So pay attention to those things that might come about. Um, then we have Venus retrograde in Aries that will sextile Pluto in Aquarius. Um, a sextile is a supportive aspect. It's a nice aspect. And again, this is about your health habits and routines. And Aquarius is your fourth house of home, family, your parents, your physical living space, your country, your pride, your clan. And you have been steadily working on something regarding this area of your life since November. Sorry about that. And you have been seeing progress. You have been uplifted here. So what this sextile is that maybe what you have been trying to accomplish as far as a routine and a schedule in and around family, it's been working out really well. It's being supported. Uh, and this sextile has happened before at the beginning of February, and now it's the second time, and it will do it the third time when Venus goes direct at that time, um, during the early week of May. And that'll be some kind of, you're solidifying by then a routine or a schedule, or maybe a health regime. um, and it is beneficial in regards to your home and family. All right, and then we have Venus retrograde in Aries Cazimi, and Cazimi simply means in the heart of the sun. So the focus, the sunlight is shining a spotlight on how you, inside of you, desire um, for your Aries related house to be, your sixth house to be, because you're reviewing now on the changes that you want to make regarding your health and habits. And then what happens also is we have a last quarter moon in Capricorn. And this is significant because, well, first, it's Capricorn. It's a very serious sign. Second is you've been through a lot with Capricorn. And I'm not going to go into that. I have oodles and oodles of videos on your Capricorn related house. But last quarter moon signifies the very next stage before an ending, before the full moon, the culmination, the fruition of that new moon in Capricorn that we had on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve. So there was either a new opportunity then, uh, or you seeded um, the hopes of something new regarding your third house of communication, commuting, communication devices, siblings, cousins, extended family, a very close knit community, neighbors, the neighborhood, social media, um, language, and vision, but definitely the house of your need to be heard. But siblings is big here too. And Capricorn also rules, the government structure, tradition, uh, like old money, uh, and this climbing the social ladder. So it's been, what this last quarter moon is signifying is there has been a long, drawn out matter that is coming to a finale. Um, there is some type, you have expended a lot of time and energy here, and there is some type of an equitable agreement between two parties, or between you and yourself, maybe, but most likely two sides. And whatever was at loggerheads, right here with that new moon and what you've been working on now, everyone is coming to some sort of agreement. And with agreements, compromises, each side loses something to gain something. So there might be a feeling like a melancholy, or maybe you feel sorry, like your heart drops because maybe the other person is giving up something or you're giving up something, but it is worth it for this exhilarating feeling of freedom. You will be set free somehow. And that's what the end goal is with the full moon. It's that release. And right here, you're getting a view of that. It's the beginning of the end of that. Okay. Then we have the sun in Aries, this time sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. Again, Aquarius is your fourth house of home and family, and Aries is your sixth house. Um, First we had Venus, now it's the sun. Now it's getting a little bit more serious because it's the sun. And as I mentioned, it is a supportive aspect, but here, because it's the sun, it's an authority figure, it's a powerful person, but a compassionate person, or something. And Pluto is very powerful. Pluto rules power, fear, control, and he also rules the riches of the earth. He rules the underworld. So think of gold and diamonds and minerals are in the earth, as well as the seeds we planted in the underworld, and then it grows up to be a very strong tree. So here, what it's illuminating is the power, the untapped potential regarding your fourth house of home and family. On the surface, and the fourth house is a very, very deeply emotionally rooted house. It's your conditioning. So on the surface, you might see something, but there's something even deeper there. Uh, and what Pluto will try to do is take you down to the inner depths of that conditioning, of that root, and have you pull on that power. The only reason I'm like hesitating, and I'm not hesitating, it's just how to explain it to you, because it is a supportive aspect, but it is a very powerful aspect. So there may be some type of a power play here, or a control issue, or or fear tactic that may be involved. And how to handle that with Pluto, how to handle Pluto really is discipline, to acquiesce, not to respect the power there. Um, you might be an expert, but to, yeah, stand still, be disciplined, and listen, because there is something there that you will learn about untapped potential and power. All right, Mercury now retrograde in Aries will be Kazimi, again in the heart of the sun. So when I said, ignore, I'm sorry, that's my pug. He's just in the window, and every time he sees a squirrel, he has to bark his head off. Um, when I said before to ignore dates, with the one exception is on this date. Don't ignore this date. This date, try to set yourself a reminder, because it is a 1 day deal type of thing when Mercury is Kazimi. So it's retrograde. So you're rethinking, renegotiating um, agreements, discussions, ideas regarding your sixth house of home or health habits and routines, and you might get a missed call right, call back right away, or if you get a text, answer it right away, because there is something here that's important. Also, you may find something that might have been lost. That's Mercury. He's the trickster. For some reason, he likes to hide things, but here you might find it. All right. Then early next week, we have Mercury now retrograde in Aries that will sextile Pluto in Aquarius. So first we had this Venus, then we had the Sun. Now it's the communication, and now is where you need to be careful. Okay, if you're communicating something about your schedule and your routine to family, parents, or what have you, um, or if it is changing their routine or their schedule, again, it's supportive here, and good thing, it's in your home and family. But here again, um, you want to be careful of how you communicate, because it's Pluto. So, because what's getting triggered as well is Chiron and Aries squaring Mars and Neptune. Uh, I will discuss that uh, right after this, because it's exact the next day. But yeah, just watch your communication with family, or in regards to health and routine and things like that. It may be about a parent, Scorpio, or it may be maybe about a sibling. But yeah, there's going to be communications, rethoughts, renegotiations, and just be disciplined in your communication. Now, discussing Mars in Cancer squaring Chiron and Aries. So, Cancer for you is your ninth house of higher education, foreigners, long distance travel, um, philosophy, publication, and the World Wide Web. Um, and Cancer also natally rules home and family, but especially the mother or matriarchal figure. Um, and you have been busy here with since October, November. You've had issues here, um, but you've been busy resolving them and going forward with that. If you are a student, it might be just mundane with getting paperwork in order, or changing classes, or adding classes, or it can be about finishing up something about higher education. Otherwise, maybe it's about traveling to a foreign place, or you're dealing with a foreign person. And with your fifth house of love and romance highlighted as well, it might be a romantic person that's foreign to maybe you and your family, and there's an issue with your mother maybe and your lover. It can be that. I mean, it can be really anything, but it's this action that you're doing in regards to your ninth house of higher education, of foreigners, of publication, or your philosophy is triggering an old wound in regards to your health, your habit, your routine, um, and it is also Aries, so it's, the image of how you are in relations to your daily habits. Square is a hard aspect, but it also jumpstarts something that has been a stalemate here. Um, so I'm just trying to think. Sorry. Um, well, Chiron was the wounded healer. That's the mundane explanation of him. But Chiron was also a maverick. I'm coming up to the 29th mark minutes, so I need to start a new thing. Give me a second. Yeah. So yeah, he was also a maverick. He was given the option of either he was wounded, where he could not heal from it. So he was given the option of whether to live with the wound forever, um, or to pass away. And he chose to live with it. But how he handled it is he became a teacher, teaching about that wound, how he got it, and how he survived, and the sacrifices, and so on and so forth. And but he did it in a maverick sort of a way, where it caught the attention of the students. They were enthralled. So what it is whatever hurt or past wound you have in this area, of your health and habits, and 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 the image that you think it portrays. If you take a teaching role in it, or learn to teach something here, and use your own unique creative way, you will definitely start this healing process. Um, and again, it's all about health. So it's about your health. So just be aware of your health, because also the sixth house is about breaking up your daily routine in 8-hour increments. 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for work, 8 hours for fun and relaxation. And your body has to be healthy in order for your mind to be worry free, and your mind has to be anxious free, in order for not to suffer any physical ailments, God forbid. So whatever is in regards to your ninth house that's triggering this, try to get a hold of it, try to control it if there's any anxiety, or what have you. All right, moving on. Then the moon enters Pisces, your fifth house. um, and then Venus also is also already retrograde in Aries, but it reaches the 00 mark of Aries as it is about to enter Pisces. And right after that, Venus enters Pisces and then conjuncts Neptune at that very critical 29 degrees. Excuse me, huge. Um, so it's Venus retrograde conjunct Neptune in Pisces. It's um, what you desire on the inside regarding love, romance, children, creativity, and fun. A vision of a longing desire, that's inside of you. Because then it's the moon, it's Venus retrograde, and it's Neptune and North Node all conjuncting Neptune at that very important and last degree of Pisces, 29 degrees. This is huge, Scorpio. This is very huge. This is very important. Um, okay, so what this is signaling is, well, first, it's very beautiful. It's very dreamy. It's very romantic. You know, and Neptune is, giving us that, giving embalming things or people around us to accentuate even more this desire, because it's Neptune. The other side of it is it can be complete confusion, um, or fogginess about this desire, where it's almost an illusion. On the negative side, it can also relate to being embattled, but embattled within ourselves, or it can be going to, air quotes, war, uh, or being on the edge of maybe like a slippery slope. Uh, it can signify all those. But these aspects are signifying is that we need to go back to a situation or person that we know is, air quotes, not good for us, or a situation that's has proven to be dysfunctional, uh, or yeah, something that is not going to work out. But there is a compelling reason to do so. The universe is approving of this. Um, the thing of, yes, always going forward is important, but sometimes it does take a step back to be able to move 2 steps forward. And for those of you who are like, no, I just can't do that. That will it won't work. Are you crazy? Yeah, it's not me. It's Neptune. uh, and the universe already knows it's not going to work. However, there's something or somebody that is in that space that needs your help, and the universe is holding the door open, and it is not going back to that old world, to live it through again. There is no old world to be had, um, and that's the reason you're going back, uh, and trying maybe to save this person or something, is because that world has collapsed. Metaphorically, the ocean waves have caused a tsunami and there's only wreckage there. Uh, and you will know that. And again, it might be a temporary situation, so that when Mercury and Venus then start going direct in Pisces, you will understand that you had to go back to get immersed again, to be compassionate and to be forgiving, not only of others but of yourself, to forgive yourself. And absolutely, you'll recognize that that you do not belong in that space anymore. You can't make yourself small anymore, um, or others can't, because like I said, that world has dissolved. And the second thing is, this is, if you remember, with your February and March scopes, I mentioned is what Venus, especially, but Mercury too, is doing is it's giving you a movie trailer of what will happen the latter half of this year, um, when all the outer planets will retrograde back into the previous signs, except for Jupiter. Um, is that compelling reason of for compassion and forgiveness? I hope I have not confused you, because it was a little confusing to explain. You don't know how many times I re-recorded some of this for other signs that it was a little bit more tricky. But yeah, that's what it is. And it's a temporary situation that needs your attention. Now, the moon then enters Aries, and then Mercury retrograde now conjuncts Neptune in Pisces. Well, you're late to the party, Mercury. We already had that watershed moment, just like Mercury, to be fashionably late. No, just joking. Um, what's important here is then, you have the discussions um, about this backslide, about this compassion. Remember, it's at the 29th degrees, so it's about the ending, and maybe helping someone or yourself through this ending. Because if you remember, I also said that we will feel more the absence of rather than this new beginning, which this new beginning is being heralded also by the new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries. So as you are all busy with other things in your life, all of a sudden there's a knock on your door, and you open it, and it's like, okay, here's your new opportunity regarding your health habits and routines. Let's go. What? You don't even have your shoes on? Um, it's going to be something like that. It's going to be a surprise, because we're so immersed with other things, with all these watery stuff. But again, don't worry. It's an eclipse, so it's an unfolding opportunity. It's not like you have to grab it that day, that minute. Uh, it will slowly evolve and graduate in size, so that in a few months' time, you will be able to be on strong footing, and you will be able to grab that. Uh, and then, yeah, Mars in Cancer is still squaring Chiron in Aries, but it is separating now. Um, so all this, all these aspects are helping to relieve that as well. And then the next, right after that, trombones and trumpets, please. Neptune enters Aries. Dum da da dum. And your desire, the longing you'll have will start being very dreamy. It'll be an escape kind of a deal for you regarding your sixth house of health, habits, and routines, and the image you want to portray there. Uh, and that's how the month ends, Scorpio. Um, um, so I don't think I need to summarize. I think I covered everything in detail for you. I can tell from the time. If you are confused, because I'm confused, because it's Pisces, please feel free to put any questions you have in the comments. I answer all the questions. And because it's Pisces and Neptune, you might, and you're a water sign, so you're going to be highly intuitive as well. You might have really vivid dreams, lucid dreams, or maybe even confusing dreams. I do interpret dreams, and we can have fun with those. I'd love for you guys to share those dreams if you have any, and we'll try to work them out. And that is the end of this scope for you, Scorpio. Please take care of yourself, and I might do a standalone video on the solar eclipse next week if I have time, if I'm not embroiled in setting up your April scopes. But if you're subscribed and the bell is on, you will be notified whenever a video drops. All right, Scorpio, take care of yourself. Sagittarius! Hi, Sagittarius. All right, we are going to do you next. So this is your mid-month to end of the month scope. I will only be discussing the major aspects, a few of them this week and next, as I have already discussed them in your March scope. However, if you remember, I also said I'd be breaking up the month this way because there is so much going on in March. I thought if I did it this way. It'll just help you get a clearer picture, and you might get some new information that I may be sprinkling in here, and it'll help you navigate. First, please, I'm going to be mentioning dates only because I'm looking at something and going chronologically, but do not fixate on the dates. This is not about that day, that hour, that minute. These are huge aspects I'm talking about. So you could have even felt them before this week. You can be feeling them all through the week, and definitely they will reverberate into the future because we also have two important planets that are retrograde. So try to concentrate more on the aspect and its meaning. All right, having said that, early this week we had Mercury retrograde in Aries, semi square Uranus in Taurus. And Aries is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. And it can be gambling like with cards and casino gambling, but it is also the gamble we take on life. It is your house of fun and lighthearted romance, true romance. It's not a contractual romantic house. That would be your seventh house. But yeah, it's the house of fun and entertainment. And sorry, and Taurus for you is your sixth house of health, habits, routines, scheduling, any rituals, taking care of someone, small pets, and it is your house of chaos and gossip. So there was, um, as Mercury is retrograde, you are rediscussing, rethinking, renegotiating something with either a lover, a child, or rethinking something about a creative project, uh, or it might be the other components in your fifth house that semi-squared Uranus and Taurus. And a square is a hard aspect, but a semi-square is kind of a quick aspect. And squares aren't bad either. They jumpstart things that have been stale or are at loggerheads. And it aspected your sixth house of routine and health and habits. Now, Taurus also rules the second house of job, income, and your value system. And Aries rules the first house of image. So, in relations to your fifth house, you have this certain image that you'd like your fifth house to look like. Okay. Um, and your health habits and routines, you might be getting really busy at work, or you may have started a new job, or you're thinking about maybe changing your schedule in regards to maybe a job, or maybe it's about your health. But you either might have been surprised, or a lover or a child could have surprised you, or there's that aspect in regards to this. And this will be aspected again when Mercury goes to direct. So what this signifies is again something about creativity, romance or children, and your house of routine and schedule. Getting those two to agree together. Okay. Uh, what really starts the show is midweek. Again, don't concentrate on the date, but I'm just, is the Sun conjuncting Neptune at the very critical 29 degrees of Pisces, the ending degrees of Pisces. Remember, you've had a 14-year long journey regarding your home, family, your parents, regarding your country, your clan, your patriotism. That's what the fourth house holds. It's a very emotionally rooted house, let alone it being in Pisces. It is quite emotional for you. Uh, with the Sun conjunct here, um, it is powerful. A conjunction is neither air quotes bad or good, but it is a serious aspect, and we have a serious planet here, the Sun. So it equates to an authority figure, but it's the Sun. It's compassionate. It's a compassionate but serious authority figure, and Neptune is also a very serious planet. So this can be feelings of nostalgia, of old things, or of your old visions of what you wanted your home and family to be, or what you thought your home and family was, and this, and regarding your longing, your desire for what you want your home and family to be. And this conjunction can translate into a struggle between the ethereal and the real, and faith in face of the facts. Or do you pursue your hopes, dreams, and wishes here, or do you just chalk it up and be sensible? And it is at that very critical last degree here. Um, and this really depends on you. This is a very personal um, decision, sort of, because it really depends on where you are in life. But I will tell you that if we don't pursue that, even that last, remnant of hope, we always will be left with what if um, scenario. Um, and it is always usually at that 11th hour that something breaks through, or when we give it up. Sometimes it magically happens. So it is that kind of a struggle because it's the sun and it's a conjunction, and it's at that last degrees with Neptune. And it really depends on where you are in life. Uh, we do have Chiron in Aries squaring Mars in Cancer in the background. It's not exact yet, and we have a couple of trines, but that's just the moon. And Chiron is a wound in the past regarding, again, your Aries related house squaring Mars in Cancer. And Cancer is your 11th house of groups and friends. But I'll explain that more in detail when it becomes exact later on. Uh, but that's what's going on here. Starting Wednesday, Sagittarius, you're going to be engulfed in those feelings again, and um, thinking that you have to make a decision, or something can happen where you may seem like you need to make a decision. Moving on the 20th, it is the sun entering Aries, and it is a spring equinox. And it is the age that is birthing the brand new, fresh, hopeful. I wanted that idiot who poked holes in his muffler to pass before I said that because it didn't sound very fresh and new. Yeah, so it is the birth of a new era, and it is a fiery era. Uh, it is um, it is a hopeful era about having someone that's strong, that's a fighter, but that's compassionate. And that is what you will be longing and desiring regarding your romance or lover, or hoping for your children, maybe. Or you might, even pets. You might get that wild golden retriever, um, or just the way you want to go about having fun is going to be fiery and passionate. And this is like no other new spring, Sagittarius, because other years, you had other planets shaking up your other areas of your life. And each year during the spring equinox, you try to reinvent this area of your life to maybe fix an issue that you had going on in other areas of your life, because we always look to the spring to re-energize, reinvigorate. But this year, it's like none other because we are ending that era of the water signs. And I can't stress enough how important it is for you, especially because you are a fire sign. And as I think I commented in last week's scopes to a Sagittarius, is that you guys have been having a square to your sun um, from a couple of planets, and it has been quite stifling. And because of all this water and earth energy, your fire has been dimmed to like a pilot gas, like a small pilot. And this here with this spring equinox, it is going to magically, yes, but via God, uh, capital G, and the universe, your pilot is going to be ignited, and you're going to have this fiery passion. Anyway, I'm beating a dead horse. Let me move on. But yeah, very, very important spring equinox for Sagittarians. Okay, after that, we will have Venus retrograding in Aries. Remember, it's what you're desiring on the inside regarding your fifth house. Now, sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. A sextile is an important aspect. It is a supportive aspect. However, it is a serious aspect because we have a serious, um, powerful Pluto, and we have the very serious, no nonsense when she's retrograde Venus aspecting this. So your desires are intense regarding your fifth house of romance and children and creativity. And with the sextiling to Pluto in Aquarius, Aquarius is your third house of communication devices, commuting, siblings, cousins, extended family, neighbors, the neighborhood, social media, vision, and language. It's your need to be heard. Aquarius also natally rules the 11th house of groups and friends and what have you. So um, there is there's serious desires that you have within that you want to voice um, here, and I'll explain the seriousness more a little bit later. But that's what this aspect is, and this has happened before at the beginning of February. This sextile, and this is the second time. It will happen once again when Venus is direct on the first week of May, uh, and it is the deepest desires between these two houses. All right. Now, at the end of this week, we have Venus retrograde in Aries Kazemi. And Kazemi just simply means the heart of the sun. Simple but serious. So, we had it when it was going direct, Venus direct in Aries Kazemi. Now it's retrograde Kazemi. So the focus, the ray of the sun is shining a light on how you feel inside, really down deep inside of you as you are reviewing here your fifth house. Um, then what we have is a last quarter moon, and this is in Capricorn, and this is very important. So Capricorn is your second house of job, income, and your value system. And many of you might are between jobs or are not working or have started a new job, or you might be in your old position, but that is going to change drastically very, very soon. Now, this last quarter moon is the last stage before a complete ending, or when the moon becomes full, culmination, ending, fruition. And it harkens back to the new moon in Capricorn on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Whatever new opportunity you had regarding job, income, or your value system, then, and whatever, and I won't go into the whole Capricorn thing that you've gone through for the past 18 years. That's been a long, long process. But here, uh, this is something that has been a long standing issue that is coming to a finale. That has expended you've expended a lot of time and energy in here, um, and now you are seeing the fruits of that labor before a complete fruition, where you are agreeing on something. There's a fair and equitable agreement between two parties here, where an agreement is both sides lose something to gain something, to gain an agreement, and but it's still fair. Um, it's still a good deal, and there is still some paperwork or what have you uh, to be affected thereafter, because that's why it's the last quarter moon. Then another quarter, it's the fruition. But you might also feel this like maybe your heart drops, or you may feel sorry or something because of what you or the other person is maybe losing to gain this agreement and to gain this relief. And that's what this is all about. This is some sort of a release of a relief, because you're able to equitably settle here. Capricorn also rules government, um, social ladder, climbing the social ladder. It rules tradition, family tradition, old money. It's a very serious sign, and it's a cardinal sign. So this is going to be a very serious last quarter moon for you, Sagittarius. Uh, but yeah, that's what it is. Let's move on. Then we have the Sun now in Aries, sextile Pluto and Aquarius. Remember, first it was Venus retrograde, now it's the Sun. So now it gets a little serious, um, because it's the Sun. It's a very powerful planet. I mean, not to take away from serious Venus, but the Sun is an authority figure, and Pluto is a no holds barred planet. Uh, it destroys whatever it comes into contact to rebuild. So we've got, and it's still supportive. There's still that sextile there, but it's getting serious here. And um, so between your fifth house of love, romance, and children, and your third house of communication, commuting, and maybe social media or friends or groups are all involved. Now, this can be as mundane as um, maybe getting a new communication device or a new car or something like that, and that it just makes your commuting maybe between your home and a lover's, or taking your children around a little bit easier. It can be as mundane as that. But on the serious note of this is, watch how you communicate with either a lover, a romance, or a child, or how you're communicating about a creative project. starting the end of this week, because it's Pluto, and Pluto it rules power, it rules fear, it rules control. Uh, but it's still Aquarius, so it's still an air sign, which is nice to your sun sign. Um, and what really Pluto does is, he rules the riches of the underworld. So think of gold, diamonds, and minerals. Even the seeds we plant in the underworld, they sprout and they become strong trees. So what Pluto's trying to do here regarding your Aquarius related house is to take you deep down, um, to find your untapped potential, your powerhouse there. It might have to do with a sibling as well, because that's it's pointing to that too. So there might be sibling things going on. But as far as fear, I've discussed it at nauseum. But for the sake of new listeners, it's I liken it to like going into a dark room and having the door shut behind you. You're fearful. It's dark. You can't see anything. But if you stand still, completely still, and focus, there's a light inside of us. So the light behind your eyes will start to make objects out in the room, and then your fear dissipates. So that's where your power lies, is in facing that fear. And that's what Pluto tries to do through fear tactics or control or power plays. So, in regards to this aspect, because it's the sun, and if there is any fear tactic or power play or control issue, what you do is you discipline. It's like being still. You use complete discipline. You don't yap back. You don't talk back. Even if you're an expert here, even if you know it all here, even if you know something that the other party doesn't know, there's something here for you to learn. So you use discipline, complete discipline, um, and you listen. And that's how you overcome this. If it is something negative, or if an issue of a power play comes up, or a fear control. Moving on. Now, early next week, we will have now Mercury retrograde in Aries, your fifth house. That will be Kazimi. So first, excuse me, we had Venus, then we had the Sun, and I'm sorry, we had first Venus, and now it's Mercury Kazimi. And when I said ignore dates, the only exception is here. So set yourself a reminder for Monday, because it's a 1 day type of a deal thing to take advantage of. And it is retrograde, so it's rethinking, rediscussing, renegotiating something regarding your fifth house of love and romance, but it is with intensity. It is with a very juicy rejuvenation, and there's an awareness of urgency here. So missed calls, call right back. A text right back. An idea, throw in your 2 cents too. But remember, it's Pluto. There's Pluto in the background, so don't be, a bully or anything. I'm laughing with you, Sagittarius. I'm really laughing with you because I know how Sagittarius are. They're not bullies. I'm not saying you guys are bullies. It's just so cute how fiery you get when you talk. uh, yeah. So I grab just grab whatever is on offer here, because it's a 1 day deal. All right. Moving on. Then okay. So here now we have Mercury retrograde again, your fifth house, sextiling now Pluto in Aquarius. So first we had the sun, First we had the Venus, serious. Then we had the Sun, very very serious. Now it's Mercury. So now it's rethinking, rediscussing, renegotiating something here regarding your fifth house, which is being supported by Pluto and Aquarius. But again, it's Pluto, so have respect for power, for where the power is. You have this innocence about you when you're fired up and hopeful, and you mean no harm when you discuss something. But and Pluto is going to be teaching you that. But it might seem argumentative, and you might think it's just really um, par for the course of litigating something. But it's how you're sounding off. So just again, be careful of your communication. You don't want to get into a power play, because it can escalate with Pluto. Is what I'm saying. All right, and then I've said that. Okay, so now we're towards the midweek next week. Now, yeah, sorry about that. I can only record within 30-minute increments, so I ran out. So I have to start another session with this video editor. Okay, so now I can discuss Mars in Cancer squaring Chiron in Aries, because it's exact. And again, Cancer is your 11th house of groups, friends, or wait, I'm sorry. See how I am? Um, Cancer is your eighth house. I apologize. I'm so sorry. So it is your eighth house of joint finances, intimacy, um, inheritance, the taboo, secrets, the past, taxes, government benefits, banks, credits, and loans. It is the house where you benefit from other people's money. And it is also the house of how other people value you, because your second house is how you value yourself. So you have been busy here since October, November, and you've had issues here. And you've recently been seeing resolutions here or gaining momentum. Um, Also, Cancer rules your home and family, or I'm sorry, natally it rules the home and family, and especially the mother or a matriarchal figure. So it is a very sensitive house, and it being your eighth house is quite sensitive as well. And whatever's going on in this house for you, Sagittarius, it is squaring Chiron in Aries. So it is triggering an old wound, a hurt regarding something that's in the past about your fifth house of romance, love, children, maybe creative project, yes, or just how you have fun. Uh, this can translate in many, many different ways, and it can have many different layers. Uh, but just in being supported by others, um, being valued by others, or uh, and anything that has to do with maybe taboo or any issues about your mother or whatever is triggering this hurt, this wound. Square is a hard aspect, but it is beneficial as well. It does jumpstart something that's stale that you thought that you'd have to live with forever and ever. Um, because Chiron was the wounded. They call him the wounded healer. But what Chiron's story is about is he did get a wound that he would never heal from, and he was given the option to either pass away uh, or live with the wound, and he chose to live with the wound. But he was also a maverick, a very unique uh, uh, demigod or what have you, and he is the half horse, half man. So very fitting for you, Sagittarius. And how he learned to endure the pain and actually thrive on it is he started teaching others about his pain, about his how he got the wound and what his actions caused the wound or and others and whatever. But he had, like I said, he was a maverick, so he had a very maverick approach of teaching it, a very unique way of teaching it, where younger students who don't have the patience were enthralled by it, and and that's how he start not heal because it's always there, but learn to accept it as part of it's like if you see someone, let's say they have something regarding their image that's unique, uh, like my pug. I like my pug. He sometimes he in pictures he looks like a terrorist. Oh my god. Uh, uh, but yeah, pugs usually they're so ugly that they're so cute. They're so ugly that you love them so much. So something like that, um, something like that. And as far as living with that pain, he started to thrive on teaching others, and he started understanding himself and others. So whatever this hurt, whatever this past wound you have regarding love, romance, children, or creativity, Sagittarius, try to use a maverick approach uh, of learning or teaching about it, which will gain you of uh, gain you this this intimate understanding of the other in your eighth house. Will gain you this of the way others value you. You will be valued even more, right? And also midweek Venus now is retrograde in Aries at 00 degrees. So it is just about to retrograde back into Pisces. And then the moon as well enters Pisces. And as soon as Venus retrogrades back into Pisces, it will conjunct Neptune at that ending degrees of, very important ending degrees of 29 degrees. So then we have the moon, Venus retrograde, and the North Node, all conjuncting Neptune in Pisces at that very important, critical 29 degrees ending. You can throw the kitchen sink in with it too. It's a goddamn party in Pisces now. Lordy, lordy. I'm laughing with you, Sagittarius. Remember, I'm going through these aspects as well. So there's a lot going on, and what makes this very, very important is because it's at that critical 29 degrees. And what this is signifying is two things, Sagittarius. One is that we are going back to something or someone that we know is, air quotes, bad for us, or uh, a situation that's, air quotes, not good, to something that is maybe dysfunctional. I'm not talking about going to something abusive or anything like that. Please don't take it that way. I'm talking a few degrees below, calmer than that. But yeah, it is going back to something or someone that is, that it will not work out. However, it is a compelling reason that we're doing this. And for you, it's most likely your parents or a parent. That's your compelling reason, uh, because they need your help. There's something ending here. God forbid. I'm not talking about an ending. I'm just, only God knows that. That would be blasphemous of me to even. I'm like a hardcore Orthodox Christian, so even though I do astrology, but still. Uh, so what we're doing, we're going back because somebody or something needs our help here in the old way of doing things, because that world has collapsed. That world, allegorically with Neptune, it has washed away, and it is, the deluge. It's disintegrated, and we can see that even with in the news with our own government. We are, rightly so, dismantling some agencies or departments that are not useful anymore and bloated and just inefficient. However, we can also see a backtrack with, okay, we don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater, so they're bringing back some people and maybe a component, or relocating to a smaller area, whatever. But it is something like that. We are going backsliding into this because we need to save something that's important, that the world has collapsed around them. Um, so don't worry, you're not going back to the old world, because there is no old world anymore. We have stepped into the new. And once Mercury starts going direct, along with Venus, you will realize that you cannot be made small anymore. You don't fit in that world anymore. And neither does the other. But there's, like I said, a compelling reason. It might be temporary. And the God and the universe is approving of this, because the universe is holding the door open for you to do that. It's not to build up the old world again, no, or prop up anything. It's just to save something, and bring it into the new world. And only then, when you are immersed back in that, will you understand the compassion, um, of why you were compelled to do this. It will make sense to you. And like I said, as it moves forward, then you are on solid footing going forward, because you need to take that one step back, in this case, to go two steps forward. Okay, because the new is right at our doorsteps. As Oh, and the second thing, I was going to segue right into it. I thought I was like, oh, perfect segue, but I forgot. The second thing about this going back is, again, if you remember, I've been harping about that Mercury and Venus, sorry, it's like a movie trailer, of what we'll, be experiencing the latter half of the year, when all these planets retrograde back into the previous signs. So at least you'll get a clip, because I know a lot of people were like, God, don't take us back. What are you, crazy? But you'll understand here, and that's why going back, the latter half of the year, to finish up any loose ends. That's what this is previewing. Like I said, it's temporary here. Um, and then, yeah, it was a good segue, but I messed it up. So I'm just going to say, so then the moon enters Aries, and I'm mentioning the moon in this instance because it's very important, as this new moon will be a partial solar eclipse in Aries. Dum, da, da, dum, another dum, dum, dum. And this is a new opportunity, Aries. A very bright, fresh, new, rejuvenated opportunity regarding love, romance, children, and creativity. It is the last set of the solar eclipse that we've had in Aries and Libra for the past year and a half, 2 years. And it will semi-square Uranus and Taurus. Uh, but I mean, a square is a hard aspect, but it's a semi-square. It's quick, and also with this instance, it's a good square because it does point to your work, health, and habits and routine. So something changes, and again, like I said, it might be something really mundane, but there's a surprise element here that's hitting your health and habits and routines, or maybe your job sector. Um, uh, The other thing is, this surprise might be because we're so busy and immersed in all this hullabaloo of going back into Pisces and the overwhelming feelings that will overcome us. This new opportunity has been in the background. You've been aware of it. It's been building, but because maybe we're so busy, it comes knocking, and you open the door, and it's like, "Let's go," and you'll be like, you know, your hair is in a towel or what have you, and you'll be like, "Oh my God, it's time already." But again, don't worry. It's not like a use it or lose it. This is an eclipse, so it's an unfolding opportunity. You'll just be made aware of that and the sense of, oh, it's right here. And it's beginning. But this opportunity, because it's an eclipse, will start gaining momentum and size in a few months' time when it's ripe for the taking. Uh, and or you can have this opportunity right away. But it is an eclipse. It does give you a movie trailer sort of view of how this new opportunity is, but there is a surprising element, and it's hitting your health and habits and routine sector. And then Mercury retrograde in your fifth house now will also conjunct Neptune in Pisces at that very critical degree. Excuse me, Mercury, you're kind of late to the party, but isn't it just like Mercury, who rules Gemini, your seventh house, to always be fashionably late? We just had this whole crying party yesterday. Where were you? I'm joking. It's just the very next day, it catches up. So now you start to discuss, rethink, um, renegotiate about this going back temporarily, out of compassion, to forgive, not only others, but more importantly, to forgive yourself about whatever hurt that is triggering, of regarding love, or just simply having fun and being lighthearted again. Um, in your this forgiveness, this compassion is coming from your fourth house of home and family, and that's actually perfect. And Pisces is the perfect sign to host your home and family, Sagittarius, because it is the sign of the two fishes. Uh, there is always a dual option here, and it is the sign of faith, as you know, the Christian faith, the sign of Jesus. All right, then right after that, Neptune, drum roll please, enters Aries at 00 degrees. Dum da da dum. And then this desire, this dreamy desire, this escape, this longing for love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and just having fun will be ignited for you, Sagittarius, and nobody deserves it more than you, um, because you have been off the radar. We need hopeful as Sagittarians to be back up and fiery again. So this is a very, very good year. But it is giving you this movie trailer of how 2026 will definitely uh, develop full force and ignite. But you will have a taste of that for a few months now, in the summer, in a perfect time. All right, Sagis, if you have any questions, you can throw them in the comments. Also, because we're going back into Pisces and Neptune and all these planets, and it's at that very critical degree, you might have really vivid dreams or lucid dreams, or maybe even confusing dreams, because it's Pisces. I do interpret dreams. You can throw them in the comments, and we'll have fun with them. Uh, Otherwise, I hope you were entertained, if not informed, if not entertained, today. And I will try to do a standalone video on the solar eclipse and drop it next week if I'm not too busy with preparing your April scope. So if you don't see one, please forgive me, but I'll do my best, and I'll most likely drop it. Otherwise, I will talk to you soon. All right, Sagittarius, take care. Capricorn, hi, how are you? So this is your mid-month to end of the month scope. I will only be discussing major aspects, a few this week and next, as I have already discussed them in your March scope. But if you remember, I decided to break it up this way because there's so much going on in March that I wanted to break it up this way to maybe remind you and maybe give you some more information that you may have not had before. Um, and please do not get fixated on the date. When I do mention dates, it's just for my own notes as I go chronologically. But it is not about that day, that hour, that minute, that aspect happens. These are major aspects I'm talking about. So you might have already felt them last week, and you'll certainly be feeling them during the week. And of course, they vibrate into the future, especially with two planets, important planets, retrograde, and we'll be making the same aspects in the future. So with that out of the way, just concentrate more on the aspect and its meaning rather than fixate on the date. Okay, and we shall start. So what's going on with you? You've been you've been really busy that you actually don't care about this that much because you've been really super busy with your job and all that. Um, so let me go through this week. We start off with Mercury retrograde in Aries that will semi square Uranus in Taurus. Okay, so Aries is your fourth house of home, family, parents, um, your country, your clan, patriotism, your physical living space is what Aries rules for you. Aries also rules the first house of image and how uh, you want your home and family to be viewed. uh, Taurus, excuse me, um, is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, um, gambling, and yes, like card or casino gambling, pets, uh, and um, and just a gamble on life. The fifth house is a fun, lighthearted house. It's an entertainment house. It's a true romance. It's not a committed house. So your seventh house would be a committed house, a marriage house. But this is the house of fun. Um, Give me just 1 second. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. All right. Um, So this aspect is somewhat of maybe a surprise or a jolt, but it's a semi-square, so it's a quick tense aspect, and it is something that you're rediscussing, renegotiating regarding your family, but um, it does sort of it surprises you in some way, either in regards to your love, romance, and children, or a creative project, or that is surprising your family, vice versa. Now, what really starts the show is midweek. We have the Sun conjunct Neptune at the very critical 29 degrees of Pisces. And conjunction is neither air quotes bad nor air quotes good, but it is a serious aspect. It's a joining. So the Sun is powerful, it's an authority figure, um, and it rules Leo. So it can also be a compassionate authority figure. And Neptune, of course, is a powerful small g god of the ocean. And what this conjunction is, Capricorn, is feelings of nostalgia, of the old, of tradition, um, because you rule actually that. You rule tradition of solid structure, of government, of family tradition. Old money, that's you, Capricorn. You wear it well. So yeah, there's those feelings, but there's a struggle here because it's the sun and it's a conjunction. And what the struggle is uh, between the ethereal versus the real. It's the struggle of having faith in face of the facts. It's of pursuing your hopes, dreams, and your wishes, or do you throw it all away, just chalk it up and be sensible? Uh, and Capricorns are all about sensibility, uh, but this aspect is very very strong. You cannot deny the struggle that you're having, and it's healthy to have the struggle because then you make serious choices. The thing is it's a personal choice and it is your choice, and it really depends on where you are in life. No one can really tell you what is going to happen here. The only thing I'll let you know is that um, it is true that for most people who at that last minute just give up and say, oh, it was never meant to be, or don't pursue that even that last thread. There's always the nagging thing of what if. And also, um, sometimes it is that last thread that gets you back up. um, it is usually at the 11th hour that magic happens. So just having those two, but of course, again, like I said, it is where you are in life. I need to do something, but I don't want to shut it off, because if I shut it off there. All right. um, yeah, I'm taking like a long time with these videos because these are really important aspects, and I've been recording and didn't realize that now it's like really dark outside. Um, so it is that that aspect is that energy. And then what happens next is we have the sun that enters Aries, and this is the spring equinox. This is the very awaited uh, spring equinox that everybody is hoping for. It is the dawning of the new era. The old era has died. Long live the queen. Well, or king, or whatever. It is that. Uh, so, if you know, every year the sun enters this area of your life. The sun enters Aries, and every year around this time, you are hopeful about your home and family, your parents. You try to reinvent things here. Remember, Aries rules the image as well. And in previous years, you've been reinventing this area of your life, an aspect to whatever the other planets were doing in other areas of your life. So if you had issues, let's say with Pluto or Uranus or whatever, you look back here during the spring and say, all right, let me do this. So hopefully, you know, the new, the fresh, the rejuvenated. But this is different. This is uh, everything has changed. The old is gone, and it is now the new. So this is a new spring. And I think I gave you the example of in your March scope is the Lion King's son, Simba. When that monkey guru guy held up little Simba in the rays of the golden sun, and all the animals, bowed and they broke out in song, in tributary song, and he was hailed as the golden fiery child. And this is what it is, Capricorn. This is the dawning of the very golden fiery hope that we have awaited. And your home and family, and especially your parents, or maybe just one of your parents, is a firebrand. They are somewhat of a go-getter. They are, yeah, very. They might even be fire signs. There's always something going on with your home and family. It's very vibrant, and every year it does sort of reinvent itself. But this year, it's going to even surprise you. So it will not be like what it's been with Pisces, with Neptune and Pisces. Even though that has been a very embalming um, event for you. But this it's not going to be Aries, or Pisces, watery. It'll be a very exciting, new, fresh, invigorating journey that you will have regarding your home and family, and with your parents. So very excited for that. Okay, and then what we have is we will have Venus in retrograde in Aries, sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. Okay, so um, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention with the spring equinox, right after that, Venus will station retrograde in Aries in your home and family. So now you will be, so when it was direct, it was your desire for whatever regarding your home and family and your parents. Now it's going to station and go retrograde. So now you're going to review your desire about that, make tweaks and adjustments. Now just remember it's retrograde, so you do not want to make any permanent changes, because when it goes direct, you might just hate it. The whole rule about the retrograde, have backup plans. And also, Venus tends to sometimes show her ugly side when she retrogrades. Hopefully not. It is your home and family. We love our loved ones unconditionally, so try to look past that if there are any issues here. But remember, it's temporary. And sometimes it will bring somebody or something from the past. And if you're able to survive this retrograde, um, once it goes direct, then it is on solid footing. If it breaks up during the retrograde, then it was just not meant to be. Again, hopefully it's all good, because it is your home and family sector. And then, yes, Venus retrograde in Aries now, the very early Aries. And pay attention to these days. Whenever a planet stations, sometimes we do get the veil lifted and we get a clue about it. So as Venus is retrograding in Aries, it will sextile Pluto in Aquarius. Um, Very important, serious aspect. A sextile is a supportive aspect, Capricorn. And you have been very, very busy regarding your second house. of job, income, and your value system. Many of you have started a new job, a new elevated position, a promotion, um, maybe even started your own business, and it has been steadily increasing in spurts sometimes even, and money has, whatever you thought was out of reach is materializing beyond your belief. So that is very good. For those of you who are between jobs, uh, I'm just trying to think. This shift will happen in May, June. You'll be starting something new then. But these next 2 weeks give you clues for those of Capricorns who are between jobs. And that's a very small sliver. So this supportive aspect, um, now Pluto does rule fear, control, and power. So there is something of those going on regarding your job, or maybe income, or maybe even your values. But there's something you fear maybe here. Um, and there may be a fear of actually stepping into that power, because you are being given a power here. Um, but you're being supported by family somehow. It might be the conditioning that you've had in your home and family that is playing out with how you handle this power. Or, like I mentioned, maybe your parents have this firebrand thing going, and you're calling upon that or discussing that. But it's very supportive and it seems fun. The only thing is if you are having any power or control issues regarding your job and income, just respect the power, and as far as be humble, but also step into it. Um, that's the only, don't be timid. For others, I would say use discipline and discipline yourself. But with you guys, and with how it's aspecting your sun sign, you need to step into. Do not be afraid to step into that power. There's some fear going on here, and Pluto will be teaching you how to harness that into power. Uh, but yeah, that's what's going on between those two aspects. Now, Venus retrograde will be Kazemi, and Kazemi simply means in the heart of the sun. So this happened. This aspect has happened before when it was direct. Now it's retrograde. So the focus, the light, is shining on how you feel on the inside as you review whatever you need to change about your home and family. Um, because the focus before was on the person behind the scenes, and you could have been that person. So now the focus is on how you feel inside. All right. Then we do have a last quarter moon in your sign, Capricorn. This is the finale, the culmination of your very hard work, of how you appear, how you are seen, um, your profile. Um, it's I won't go through the whole 18-year journey that you've gone through, hell and back. it's been it's been extremely painful, liberating, sad, joyous, and all that. But I've done plenty of videos on that. But what this is the next stage to the last of an ending of a long-standing issue that you have devoted a lot of time and energy in, and you are now getting some kind of a fair and equitable settlement agreement out of this. Um, and there is no like dispute between two parties if there was somebody against you. The it's a feeling that a lot was at stake, and you have done your due diligence, and so has the other party, and now you are coming to this fair and equitable settlement, and both of you are losing something and gaining something, and all is left, because it's the last quarter moon, so it's another quarter before it culminates in a full moon, and an ending is maybe just tying up loose ends or paperwork or what have you. But it is the culmination of the new moon in your sign that happened on January, on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, this year. So last year into this year, and yeah, that's what this is about. You might get a feeling of like, not loneliness, but of something, of like a milestone, reaching a milestone. But and it might, just give you some nostalgic, sad feelings. But it's the moon; it's temporary. It's just a couple of days. But the relief you get of releasing this is incompatible to anything monetary. So I'm happy for you, Capricorn. This will be a very good thing for you. All right, then the Sun in Aries now sextiles Pluto in Aquarius. So we had Venus first, which was retrograde, sextiling Pluto. Um, so that desire. Now it's the Sun. Um, now it gets serious. The Sun is an authority figure. It's a powerful planet, and Pluto is a very powerful planet. So thank God it's a sextile. It's a supportive aspect, but it still is a serious um, a serious support, a serious sextile. So again, um, it's between your home and family and your career, and your job and your income and value system. Just again, if there is any power plays, any fear tactics, any control issues, discipline is what will get you through this. Uh, if there is, but I highly doubt it. It's your family after all. Um, and what Pluto is trying to teach you, because that triggered something that I remembered, is um, even if you are powerful, even if you are an expert and know things, you still do not know as much as your family does, or an older person here, the son's authoritative figure. So with Pluto, um, to acquiesce Pluto, it's being humble and listening, being disciplined and listening, and willing to learn. Don't be a pushover. I'm not saying to be a pushover. I'm just saying that there's something uh, to be said for somebody having wisdom and getting that. And you're pretty good with that. You're Saturn ruled, so you have extreme discipline. So I'm not too worried about you. And then we have Mercury retrograde in Aries, Kazimi. So remember when I said don't pay attention to the dates? This is the one exception because Mercury Kazimi is a 1 day type of a deal. So again, any communication, renegotiation, rediscussing things regarding your home and family here, it will be like a fresh new energy, new talk, new text messages. Pay attention. Take the call. Return a missed call right away. Answer the text right away because this is important and it's beneficial and it is a 1 day use it or lose it kind of thing. Also, on this day, you can actually find something that you may have lost. Uh, Mercury is the trickster; he sometimes hides things. So that's what that is about. Now, um, then we go on to now Mercury retrograde in your fourth house of home and family. Now we'll sextile Pluto and Aquarius. So first we had Venus, then we had the Sun, and now it's Mercury. So you know there's something important here regarding your home and family and your job and your income and your value system. So rediscussing, renegotiating, rethinking something about family uh, that is supporting you and your value system or your job, or you might be picking up the bills regarding family and parents. But that is where your power lies, Capricorn. And that will be evident later on, not now. But um, especially with Venus, that aspect happened in early February, I believe. Just looking. Um, yeah, early February. And then this is the second time it's happening. And then it will happen again the first week of May. So these sextiles will happen again when both Mercury and Venus will be direct. The sun will be in a different spot. So it's quite important to pay attention to what's going on, the communication, the desire regarding an authority figure in your home and family and your job and income. It's important. All right. And then moon, no, that's not important. Okay. And I discussed that. Chiron in Aries squares Mars and Cancer. I will discuss that a little later. Well, I'll discuss it now because I wanted to discuss it when it's exact. And that is the next day, midweek, next week. Mars in Cancer will square Chiron in Aries. Cancer is your seventh house of partners, personal, business, platonic. Anyone can be your partner who knows you well. Your mother can be a partner. Your brother can be a partner. A friend can be a partner. And oh, I'm coming up at the 29 degrees. 29 degrees. 29 minutes. I have to start a new thing in my video editor. So let me just do one thing. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so yeah, you have been busy here since October, November regarding a partner or partners. Um, and you've had issues and um, you have stayed the course. You're gaining momentum in this area of your life. Um, things are getting done. Now, Cancer also rules the home and family, and especially Cancer rules the mother or matriarchal figure, and you could be your like I said, your maybe your mother is a partner in some way here for you, um, because for Capricorns the mother is crucial. It's very important in their lives. Um, but again, it might be your wedded partner as well, or platonic partner. In any case, um, this energy. I'm so sorry about my pug, and I just can't stop this right now. Uh, so hopefully it doesn't bother you. It's just every time a squirrel jumps on the trees, and the trees have not budded yet. They're not sprouting leaves yet, so they're bare. So you can see every squirrel that's going up, and they're so squirrels are evil. They just do it on purpose. They'll just go into the branch, like I'm on the second floor, and right in front of him, and they'll just just tease the heck out of him. Poor baby. All right, getting back to your partner. So this is your seventh house. So the energy is coming at you. So and it's Mars. So your partner has been pushing you to do things, uh, um, to step up to responsibilities and so forth. And midweek, something happens with a partner or an action that will square Chiron in Aries, your home and family. Um, Sorry, my pug came and he wants a snack, and I usually give him like bell peppers. So I was just grabbing a bell pepper. I'm recording in my kitchen today. Uh, so this can be the classic mother-in-law, daughter-in-law clash. It can be that if you are the man, or it can be vice versa if you're the woman. Um, or in any case, let me explain also this way. Um, Whatever your partner is doing, whatever action they're taking, uh, is causing it's a square, so it's a tense aspect, and it's triggering a hurt, a wound, uh, a past wound, a past hurt, in regards to how your home and family was viewed, or how your home and family is. Uh, and you'll go through the healing process with this home and family when Neptune is fully in Aries. But there is some kind of a hurt, some kind of a regret, that is buried deep inside you. You might say, "No, there's everything's fine. I don't know what you're talking about," and yeah, that's fine. But it's a very deeply emotionally rooted house, so it might be because you're very stoic. You're very dependable, and most Capricorns are very quiet, very stoic, and having an Aries type of fire in home, you're like I mentioned, maybe your parents are, or a parent is like a firebrand, that sometimes that rubs you the wrong way, or I don't want to say you feel like ashamed, but there's something there that the image of your home and family that might be bringing up whatever this partner is doing is causing this wound for you to remember this wound, and it's a square. Or it might be dealing with somebody else's family that reminds you of this. But that is there in the background. Um, it's at the 20-degree mark, so I'm not saying it's insignificant because it's exact, but it's not at the ending. And actually, squares are good aspects. They do jumpstart things. And you have been through this. And Mars is direct now. So anyway, again, regarding Chiron, he was the maverick, and he taught others about how he was wounded and how he survived and what his responsibility was, and all that. So if you take a maverick approach in regards to your home and family, that will help heal this past hurt, this wound. But yeah, there's a tense aspect between a partner and your family, and and partner, Cancer. Maybe it's mother-in-law regarding your family. So yeah, there's that tensity between the two, but you are going to be combining families towards the end of the year for some reason. So that's why Mars is doing this long trek in your partnership house, and now it's Neptune's turn in Aries. So very interesting for you, Capricorn. Then the moon enters Pisces. As soon as the moon enters Pisces, Venus is retrograding and Aries and hits the 00 degrees as it is about to enter Pisces. And it does that the next day. As soon as it does it, it conjuncts Neptune right away at that very critical ending degrees, 29 degrees of Pisces. So now we have the moon, Venus retrograde, the North Node, all conjuncting Neptune in that ending, very important 29 degrees of Pisces. Oh my God, you can throw the kitchen sink in there too. um, this is this is huge. This is big, and it is. I'm going to explain it in two ways. One is we are going to be compelled to go back to something, or someone that we know was maybe air quotes not good for us, or a dysfunctional situation that we know the outcome will not be good. However, there is a need to do this. There's, like I said, it's a compelling reason to do this, and um, it might be temporary, and the universe is approving of this. It is holding the door back. Now, before you guys freak out and say, no, no, I don't want to go back. I don't want to do that. You're not going back to live there, stay there. You can't, because what you're going back to is to save something or someone that is stuck back there. Um, um, you're going back to a world that has collapsed. It's a, to use the analogy of Neptune's themes, there has been a deluge and everything is in wreckage. There's nothing to build back. Like I told you, it's the end of an era. It's the beginning of a new. However, there's something that needs our attention. They're out of compassion, out of humanity. Neptune rules humanity, and we can see that in our government. Uh, they are dismantling, and rightly so, structures, agencies that are not working, that are not useful, that are bloated, that need restructuring uh, for the good of the government and the good of the people. For example, I'm getting political, so please, no political comments. But I'm just trying to give you an example. However, we can also see that they also will backtrack and will rehire some people, or downsize an agency, and then put it under supervision of another agency, because there's something there still that is worthwhile. So this is the thing of uh, the baby has been thrown out with the bathwater, and we are rescuing that baby because we need to. It's that analogy. I'm not saying that it's about a baby. I'm giving you an analogy. So that's the compelling reason, and that's why the universe is approving. It is holding this door open for us. Um, um, and once Venus and Mercury both go retrograde, both you and this other person, if it is a person, realize that you cannot live in that world anymore, because there is no that world is gone. You can't make yourself small again to fit in that environment again. We are moving on, and it is only by being immersed in that, for lack of a better words, and please don't think it's going to be painful. Actually, it's going to be very cathartic. But being immersed in that pain and feeling the compassion is when we understand that we can forgive others, but more importantly, Capricorn, forgive ourselves. Okay, uh, so it can work out that way. And this is in regards to your third house. Pisces, it rules your third house of communicating, communication devices, commuting, siblings, cousins, extended family, your neighbors, your neighborhood, social media, vision, and language. Your need to be heard. So, it might be just as mundane, and believe me, it can be that, as uh, you um, getting a used car, for example, or using Bing instead of Google. I'm laughing with you, Capricorn. I'm laughing with you because I'm going through these same aspects too. But it can be mundane. But on a serious level, it might be about a sibling or a neighbor or a neighborhood that you despise and you don't like, and you have to go back to it just temporarily because it needs to be done. And the second thing I wanted to let you know about this backslide is, if you remember, I mentioned that this is a movie trailer of what we will be experiencing the latter half of the year, as all these outer planets, these major ones that I'm talking about, will retrograde back into the previous signs, except for Jupiter and Pluto. Well, Pluto will retrograde, but just in Aquarius. So it's setting up that retrograde. It's showing us a movie trailer of that, so that when you do go back to save whatever it is to be saved, or to backtrack, like to take a step back so that when you can move two steps forward, but on solid footing. And you'll see that it's actually very, very healing, very cathartic, and very invigorating. As then, like I mentioned, it's temporary, and then we are shot into the new, because then the moon enters Aries, and this new moon, as it's entering Aries, becomes a partial solar eclipse in Aries, and it will semi-square Uranus in Taurus. So again, another surprise and tense aspect from your fifth house of love, romance, children, and creativity. So there is a new opportunity regarding home and family, regarding your parents, that's very fresh, very new, very exciting, very rejuvenating. Um, and it's the last partial solar eclipse in Aries that we'll have, that has been happening for the past 2 years. Um, but this is a partial eclipse like none other. As I mentioned, it's the new dawn. So again, very hopeful. And I don't know what the semi-square is with your fifth house is going on. What this tense surprising aspect is. Maybe you find out you are becoming new parents. I don't know, uh, but there is something there. But the main focus, the more important focus, is uh, this new partial solar eclipse. And it might be, the surprise might be that you're so embroiled in this slide back and these feelings and emotions that this new opportunity is right at your doorstep, and you're like, whoa, I thought you said next month. Wait, it's now? And don't worry about, not being ready for this new opportunity. It's an eclipse. It's an unfolding opportunity. It doesn't happen at that day. You're being made aware of. Again, eclipses are movie trailers. So this opportunity will snowball in size, and it will pick up speed to a few months down the line. But you're being made aware of this new, very exciting, a new era, new dawn, a new spring, a new opportunity, and it's all happening in your home and family. If I were you, and I know Capricorns really don't get that excited. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Capricorns are super, super compassionate. The harder they are, the softer they are inside. Um, but well deserved. Very nice things that are happening for you, Capricorn. Because then the month ends with Neptune entering Aries. Uh, Trumpets, please. I'm not going to say drum roll because it's trumpets. It's heralding the new dawn. Very auspicious. So then the desire begins, and the amount of change that's happening here in these two is so dynamic. It's crazy, and I'd love your thoughts of what's happening with you guys. And also, the last thing I wanted to say is we're between eclipse, so expect or watch out or be aware of the weird stuff that happens. And what I mean by weird is like synchronicities. Pay attention to that. It might be insignificant, but it's hugely significant because it is between eclipses that the veil is lifted, that we sense things. And also, you might have really vivid dreams, lucid dreams, or maybe just confusing ass dreams, because it's Pisces, the sign of the two fishes. But I do also interpret dreams. Excuse me. So if you'd like, you can in the comments throw them in there, and we'll have fun with them. Or if you have any questions, I answer all questions if you're confused about anything that I've said here. All right, Capricorn, my favorite sign of the zodiac. Yeah, you guys are. um, I might do a standalone video of the solar eclipse in Aries that I'll drop next week if I have time, because I'm already working on your April scope. But um, if I do and you're subscribed, you'll be notified. I most likely will. So I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, Capricorn. Hi, Aquarius. All right. So this is your mid-March 2025 mid-month to end of the month scope. Um, and as promised, I'm doing this because I mentioned in the March scope is that it's a really busy month. Um, and I'm choosing to break it up this way to help you get a clear understanding of what's going on. And I've already mentioned these aspects in your March scope, but um, now I'm going to be concentrating on a few major aspects this week and next as a reminder for you, and also because I might not have gone into like a lot of detail, and you may glean some new information. But yes, they are very, very important as they are major aspects, um, doing a lot of crazy things. So, having said that, the only thing I ask of you is not to fixate on the date. This is not about that day, that hour, that minute. Um, that is why I don't really actually put times for these aspects. Because again, these are major aspects. You may have already felt them, or you'll feel them throughout the whole week. And definitely they will reverberate in the future, as we also have two planets, two important planets retrograde, and it will be stationing direct soon, and we will feel these energies again. Having said that, we shall start. So the week has started us off with Mercury retrograde in Aries, that will semi square Uranus and Taurus. Now, Aries is your third house of communication, communication devices, commuting, your neighborhood, your neighbors, siblings, cousins, extended family, a very close knit community circle. It is social media, it is vision, and that is my pug barking, probably at a squirrel, because the branches are still bare and the squirrels just taunt him. I'm on the second level, so the squirrels just jump up and they're evil. They look at him and they're like, just probably swearing in there. So sorry about that. And Aries is also the house of language, so your need to be heard. And Aries is the me first sign. It is all about image. So that is in play somehow. And Taurus is your fourth house of home, family, your parents, your physical living space, um, your country, your clan, and your patriotism is all encompassed in there. And Taurus natally rules the second house of job, income, and value system. So, very, very valuable house for you. Uh, and what this aspect is you are rediscussing, renegotiating, rethinking something about your third house. And I rattled off all the components. So it can be one of those components or a number of them. That is semi squaring, and that is a tense aspect, but it is a quick aspect. It's a semi square. So, and squares aren't really that bad, they jumpstart things. Um, Taurus. So maybe there is you're rethinking, maybe wanting to maybe change neighborhoods. Um, Maybe neighbors are a factor. Um, uh, Maybe your job and you need to be closer to it or something like that. And it is either surprising your home and family or your parents, or you get a surprise regarding them. But there's some sort of sting there that's a little semi square there. So that's how the week starts off. But what really starts to shake and bake is midweek. So the sun will conjunct Neptune at that very critical 29 degrees of Pisces, that ending degree. Remember, Neptune has been here 14 very long years, in Pisces. And I already rattled off, did I? No. Pisces is your simply your second house of job, income, and your value system. Pisces natally also rules the 12th the 12th house of the past, of your faith, of psyche, of taking care of someone, uh, of behind the scenes, confining spaces, of spirituality. Uh, so that is in play somehow regarding your job and income. So with this sun conjuncting the Neptune at that very critical 29 degrees of Pisces, and there's some other things in the background that's going on that I'll discuss later. This is a conjunction is neither air quotes bad and nor air quotes good, but it is a serious um, aspect because it is the sun. The sun is an authority figure. The sun is a very serious planet, and Neptune is a powerful planet. Uh, so this can be illuminating feelings of nostalgia, of the old things, of the old ways, of and in regards to your job, income, and your value system. Uh, but it's more than that, as it's the sun and it's a conjunction um, in that ending degrees of Pisces. Oh, my pug's here. He wants food. Let me just explain this to him, to Aquarius. Please, Poopy. Here, come here. And then I'll get you your food. I just want to explain this aspect. Okay, okay. He's fighting me. Oh my God. I'm sure maybe we have some Aquarius that don't like dogs. So relax. So, what this is about is a struggle, Aquarius, between the ethereal and the real, between having faith even in the face of facts, between pursuing your hopes, wishes, and dreams, or just chalking it up and being sensible. All right. And your decision here is really personal. What I mean is, it depends on where you are in life. No one can really make this decision for you. But I can tell you that, the saying goes, if you don't pursue that last thread of hope, um, there will always be that nagging what if feeling. And it's usually at the 11th hour um, that magic happens. And yes, sometimes also when you finally say, I give up. It's just not worth it. Forget it. That it completely turns around. So, it's Pisces. It's vivid. It's the 12th house, and it's your second house. I understand, but again, it's something personal. But it's the that last ending degree, so not much longer. Uh, then what we have? Oh, I have to get my pug some food, so let me stop it in now. Yep, sorry about that. All right. Um, so the sun now enters Aries, and it is this spring equinox. But this is like no other spring equinox. This is the dawning of a new age, a new fiery age, a new compassionate, fiery, hopeful age. It's the new. It's a very new spring, and every year the sun comes into Aries and we have the spring equinox around this time. But this year is very significant as the old world is gone. We are in the new world now, and it is a very fresh, fiery, uh, very rejuvenated. We're going into fire signs now, and that bodes really well for air signs. So you are going to be quite uplifted, quite hope. Everybody's going to be very hopeful here. And I think I gave you the example. in the March scope of like the Lion King when his son Simba was born, and the monkey guru guy held up Simba in the rays of the sun, golden sun, and all the animals broke out in tributary song. The long-awaited, um, hopeful new beginning is how this will be. This we will feel this energy most. And again, Aries is your third house of. I rattled off all of that, and you will feel uh, all these new energies in that house. Okay, and then oh, sorry. The same day, right after, Venus will station retrograde in Aries. Uh, so also pay attention to these few days, because whenever a planet stations, sometimes we do get to see behind the scenes and get some kind of a clue of what this retrograde will be about. But the whole retrograde uh, lesson, and especially because it's Venus, and it's your third house, be careful driving, be careful with sending the wrong text, be careful with, excuse me, anything you put out there online, especially you, because it's your third house. Because when Venus stations direct, you just don't have all the information. So just have plan A, B, and C backup. But yeah, no, um, just be careful and don't buy any high priced ticket items. That's a no no, because you might end up with a lemon, because it's your third house. So be careful with cars, uh, any plastic surgery, any permanent physical changes, and driving. Like I said, be careful with your driving. Now, Venus retrograde in Aries will sextile Pluto in your sign, Aquarius. And so Venus retrograde is now you're rethinking what you desire regarding a neighborhood, neighbors, your siblings, and communication, commuting, and all that. And like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Aries rules the image. So there's something of image that you desire, or you're trying to have here. And a sextile is a supportive aspect. So either whatever you're rethinking to do regarding your third house will positively aspect how you appear and how you are seen. Okay. uh, just remember, it's retrograde, so no high price ticket items. And this sextile actually happened in the beginning of February when Venus was direct. uh, so think back to then. you know Take out your text, emails, and maybe it'll trigger a memory. This is the second time it's happening, and it will happen the third and final time, the first week of May. Uh, but then Venus will be direct, and you'll be on solid footing. So if you are planning to purchase maybe a car or an electronic device or whatever, wait till then. Okay, moving on. Venus then retrograde will in Aries will be Cazimi, and Cazimi simply means in the heart of the sun. So now the focus and the light is shining on how you desire something, but on the inside, how you feel on the inside. It might be about an authority figure also involved, because it's the sun, and who it is. That's the focus. Now, we do have a last quarter moon in Capricorn, Aquarius. Your 12th hidden house, the house of the past, of your psyche, of taking care of someone, of confining spaces, of your spirituality, of your faith. Capricorn also rules government structures, solid foundations, family traditions rather. He's a social climber, and he's the old money type, very stoic. So that is in play somehow regarding your 12th hidden house, secretive house. And this is, I won't go into the whole Capricorn story with you. I've done that ad nauseum in many different videos, but the struggles you've had in the last 18 years regarding Capricorn. And what this is, the last quarter moon designates, is the second to the last step of an ending, of a full moon, of a culmination, of a fruition. So it's the beginning. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. You're aware of the ending here. And this is a long drawn out issue that has taken much of your time and energy, that you've been working on, like I said, maybe feverishly, but now you're seeing the light. Here with this last quarter moon, what's being discussed or the is something of a equitable agreement, a fair agreement between two parties, either you and somebody else, or it can be within yourself. You make an agreement with yourself, but it is this dispute, this embattlement is coming to a close, and both parties are are in agreement that this is an equitable um, release. And you may get the feeling of like melancholy or you know sad, but it's the moon. It's a fleeting aspect, just for a couple of days, but it is worth the price to pay for the relief you are going to experience of some type of a release. Um, but yeah, that's what it is, and it is in regards to the new moon we had on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day in Capricorn. So this is the last quarter moon of it, and then another quarter we will have the culmination. All right, then we move on to the Sun in Aries sextiling Pluto in your sign. So first it was Venus, now it's the Sun. So now it's getting a little bit more serious. um, Again, the Sun illuminates something regarding your third house that is being supportive of how you are viewed, or uh, how you are viewed is in support of the third house. Like I said, it might be just as mundane as just getting a brand new car, and looking good on the outside and feeling good on the inside. It can be as mundane as that. But on a more serious note, um, it could be many things, but what I want to point out here is it's the Sun, and the Sun is powerful, and Pluto is powerful. So there may be a power play here, uh, or maybe a control issue. I don't know about a fear tactic, but you are in the position of power and control, Aquarius, and you are exuding that. I've mentioned that before. So it may be just your aura is just triggering this fear um, or thing between maybe neighbors. It's like it's like walking down the street, and there's an awesome German Shepherd walking also, and I will I will go to the other side of the street to avoid the powerful, awesome German Shepherd. It might be working out like that. I mean, that's just off the cuff. It might not even be that, but I'm just trying to explain that there's some kind of a power play here or a fear tactic here. And with Pluto, excuse me, and that is your image is exuding that. So if that is that, and you don't want that, um, with Pluto, it's about discipline. It's about being quiet and stoic and disciplined is how you overcome any power play or fear tactic here. All right. So now we go to Mercury retrograde in Aries Cazimi. And when I said, ignore dates, this is the one time that it's an exception, because Mercury Cazimi is a 1 day type of a deal. So again, it's retrograde. So you're rethinking, recommunicating, renegotiating something regarding your third house. So any missed calls, call back right away, text, answer them right away, emails, and so forth, because you want to take advantage. It is something new and exciting and exhilarating. So just have a sense of awareness and urgency on this day to take care of matters. Okay. All right. Now we're on to now Mercury retrograde in Aries will sextile Pluto in your sign, Aquarius. And so we had the Venus retrograde sextiling your sign, sextiling Pluto in your sign. Then we had the Sun. Now it's Mercury. Uh, so Mercury in Aries, and Aries is your third house. So this is a double whammy for you. Um, and it's retrograde. So it's rethinking, rediscussing, renegotiating something regarding your third house of communication. Um, and again, just be careful of your communication, your commuting. Uh, uh, because we have a square in the background that I'll discuss right after the next day when it becomes exact. Um, but there's something here that, again, it might be, it's supportive still, it's a sextile, but there might be some play on words. So any fear or power thing going on. And it's Mercury retrograde. So have backup plans and be careful of your texting or what you put online, please, and you're driving. Okay, excuse me. Now I'll discuss the square that's been going on in the background. And today it perfects the midweek. So Mars in Cancer will square Chiron in Aries, and for you, Cancer is your sixth house of health, habits, routines, rituals, scheduling, taking care of someone, small pets. It's the house of chaos and gossip. And natally, Cancer also rules the home and family and parents, and especially the mother or matriarchal figure. So you've been having a lot of activity with your sixth house back from October, November, and you have had issues here. Um, but you have been making progress steadily as Mars is now direct in Cancer and picking up speed. Um, but whatever's happening, whatever urgency you have here, or whatever you're setting up or you're going forward in, triggers some kind of a wound or a past hurt in regards to your third house of communication and commuting. Excuse me. So it might be a health issue, and you are maybe there's something in the past um, with running around with errands that is setting off this wound. Uh, but Chiron is also, it's not only the wounded healer, he was also a maverick, very unique. He taught about his hurt and how he got it and how he dealt with it. And that helped him um, deal with this wound that would never heal. So whatever there is a wound that is seems from the past that seems like it never heals, if you can find a unique or a maverick approach to it, it will help you with whatever issue you're having regarding your third house and your sixth house. Because a square is a hard aspect. It is a tense aspect. But like I've mentioned before, squares can be good. They jumpstart something that is stale or that is at loggerheads. There's a way around it. Then we have the moon entering Pisces. Just as the moon enters Pisces, Venus is retrograding in Aries at 00 degrees, about to back into Pisces. And once it does, it immediately conjuncts Neptune in Pisces at that very critical 29 degrees of Pisces. Uh, so now we have the moon, Venus retrograde, North Node, all conjuncting Neptune in Pisces at that very important last degree of Pisces. This is huge. Um, this is very, very important. So, two, there's two things here to explain. Okay, um, one is that um, there is a compelling reason that we need to go back to a situation that may have been dysfunctional, and you know it's going to be dysfunctional, or a person that we did not agree with, um, and is air quotes no good for us, or go back to this life that you did not like. However, it is not permanent, and it is not going back to that life because there is no life back there. It has ended. It has collapsed. Allegorically, with Neptune, there has been a deluge there, and everything has disintegrated. There's nothing there. So it is just stepping back uh, there to save the baby because we threw it out with the bathwater. There's something very important for us to go back there and save, not to rebuild. Like I said, there's nothing to rebuild. We're now in the new era, the new world. The old world is gone. But out of compassion, out of humanity, we need to step back and take care of that. It's like going one step back and to be able to go two steps forward on solid footing. And I've been giving the example of, we can see that in the outer world with the government, dismantling agencies and even buildings that are no longer functional efficiently functioning. Um, so that destruction is happening, but we can also see how they're sometimes retracting and keeping part of an agency or rehiring some employees as there is some good left there. So it's that kind of a type of a deal. We're going back to save that baby that was thrown out with the bathwater, and it is temporary, uh, so it's not forever. And it is when we are immersed in that we can understand why there was a need to go back. We That compassion, and we are able to forgive others, but more importantly, forgive ourselves. So this is happening in your second house of job, income, and your value system. And again, Pisces natally rules the past and confining spaces or taking care of someone, or secrets. Um, and the second thing is like I've mentioned, this is a movie trailer of what'll happen during the latter half of the year when all these planets will retrograde back into the previous signs. When we go back again, the latter half of the year, to tie up the loose ends and make things right. Again, out of compassion. Neptune is all about compassion and all that. Um, and why it makes it very important is because it's at that ending important degree, 29 degrees. Um, of course, the other side of it is it can be confusion about an illusion of our visions, or being embattled, like a war within ourselves on fearing to go back. But we've got Pluto in your sign as well, Capricorn. So you have power here, and you are a very futuristic sign. So you can understand and see. You do have the power of epiphany with this, and it'll be a very healing slide back for all of us and for you. Then the moon enters Aries, and this new moon the next day becomes a new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries. Again, that's your third house, and it also is something about image. So now you have a new opportunity that is knocking at your doorstep, and it is semi squaring Uranus and Taurus. So there is another surprise uh, regarding family and your third house. And it might, the surprise might be just you were so immersed in this going back and compassion and forgiveness that this new opportunity just comes out of the blue, even though it's been in the background. But here it's knocking on our doorstep. And don't worry about like not being ready and not being able to grab it with both hands, because it's an eclipse. It's an unfolding opportunity. It doesn't mean it's happening on that day. Uh, it will This will develop in the weeks and months in the future. Not meaning I'm not saying that it'll take that long, but uh, you will grow in this area as time goes by. Eclipses, I liken them to like movie trailers. Okay, and then we have Neptune entering Aries, and then it is the dawning of the new age. The old age is gone. It's over. We have to make adjustments now to this fiery new dawn, new age. And fire energy is sits really well with you, Aquarius. So it's all good. But you will start feeling this desire, this longing regarding communication, um, social media, siblings, commuting. Um, and you are a futuristic sign, so you will be at the forefront of all this. And this is very, very new and exciting. And we are between eclipses, so just be aware the weird things happen between eclipses. So synchronicities, and you may have vivid dreams or maybe even confusing dreams. It is Pisces, but I do interpret dreams, and you can throw them in the comments and we'll have fun with them. Otherwise, if you are confused about anything that I've said, I do answer all the questions, so you can throw those in the comments. And hopefully, I'm trying to do a standalone video on the solar eclipse in Aries, maybe dropping it next week uh, before your April forecast. All right, Aquarius, I hope you found this informative, if not entertaining, and I will talk to you soon. Pisces, this is your mid month, March 2025 scope as promised. Um, I did mention that I will be doing a mid month because there is so much going on in the month, even though I've gone over these aspects, but I'll dive a little bit deeper here so you may glean new information and help you get a clearer picture, hopefully. But what I'm doing is discussing only a few major aspects this week and next week. Uh, so please do not get fixated on the day, because it is not about that day, that hour, that minute that these aspects happen. You might have even felt them way before, and you'll be feeling them throughout the week, and definitely they'll reverberate into the future as we have two important planets also retrograde. So yeah, try to concentrate more on the aspect and the meaning rather than the day. I might mention dates, and that just helps me as I go through my uh, chronological thing. Okay, and you are um, best the best is for last, and you are ending this month in such a show, a very dramatic show. It is all about you. So yeah, you and Aries are the alpha and the omega. All right, so we started out this week with Mercury in Aries, semi squaring Uranus in Taurus. Aries is your second house of job, income, and your value system. Aries also rules the first house of image. It's a me first sign, uh, and it's a fire sign. Now, uh, Taurus for you is your third house of communication devices, siblings, cousins, extended family, very close knit community, your neighbors, your neighborhood, social media, so all those selfies, um, and it is also covers vision and language. So your need to be heard. Taurus also rules natally the second house of job, income, and value system. So that's all in the mix, Pisces. And what this aspect is about is rediscussing, renegotiating, just re-talking things regarding your job, your income, and your value system. That does make a tense aspect to your third house of communication, and it might be a surprising aspect of some sort. Now, a square is a tense aspect, but it's a semi-square. It's a quick kind. I liken it to like a sting, but it also squares are also good because they do jumpstart stalemate things. And then what really starts the show is midweek, towards the end of the week, as the Sun will conjunct Neptune in your sign, Aries. So the Sun is a powerful planet, and it represents some type of an authority figure. And Neptune, of course, is a very powerful planet, and it's conjuncting um, in your sign at that very critical 29 degrees. This is important. This is serious. So there's a feeling of nostalgia or old things, some kind of yearning or longing for something about an old matter. And it is in your sign. So it is about your image, your profile, how you are seen. And you've had a lot of changes here. Yeah, I mean, people have already discussed, like when they see you, like, oh my God, is that you? You have changed physically a lot. But also um, in regards to your value system, how you hold yourself in the outer world, that has changed. Something about you has changed. So with the Sun conjunct Neptune here at this very critical 29th degree in your sign, it is some kind of a struggle because the conjunction is neither good or bad, but it's serious. And this struggle can be between the ethereal and the real, between um, faith in the face of facts, between pursuing your hopes, wishes, and dreams, or chalking it up and being sensible. It's that type of a struggle. And it is about your appearance, your image. So it's a personal choice and a situation, and it really depends on where you are in life. No one can really um, tell you how it will go, but you know, and you'll understand this because you are co-ruled by Jupiter. Throwing it away or chalking it off uh, does leave you with that feeling of what if, and that is a nagging feeling, or things magically happen at that 11th hour. So you are aware of that, and actually you have been very, very intuitive, especially with Neptune in your sign. So you know what you know very, very acutely. And again, this is about your image and the way you appear. Now, towards the end of the week, it's March 20th, the Sun will enter Aries, and it is the spring equinox. But this is like no other spring equinox. This is a brand new era, the dawning of it, of a fiery, very combative, I'll put that in quotes, very hopeful, very fresh, very new, energizing era. And it is regarding your job, income, and your value system. So you are definitely all the Pisces who have not already found a new job or switched jobs, you will be doing so, and it will be something very fresh, very new, very exciting. Um, yeah, it'll be taking you into uncharted territory. It is like I mentioned, spring like we've never had before. very hopeful. And I did give the example of, Lion King's son, Simba, being born, and that monkey guru guy who held up Simba in the golden rays of the sun and in front of all the animals, and everybody broke out in tributary song because he was the long awaited, hopeful uh, uh, hero. And this is exactly what this new spring equinox is going to be about. It is that long awaited, hopeful, um, courageous hero that we're waiting for. And that will be represented in your job, something about your job, your income, or your value system. It might be your boss. It might be a project, a creative project that you'll be working on that will be this important. It'll be on the cutting edge. So very, very exciting thing for you, Pisces. Excuse me. Then we have Venus retrograde in Aries, um, sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. All right. So Aries, we've determined, is your second house of job, income, and your value system. It also rules the first house of image. And Aquarius is your 12th house of the past, of secrets, of behind the scenes, of confining spaces, of taking care of someone, of your psyche, of spirituality, of faith. It is all that and more. It is the hidden house. And Aquarius is the genius of the zodiac. Uh, it is very futuristic, cutting edge, and it also rules friends, groups, and associations. So your psyche, your mind, you do have uh, a genius mind. Beside, there's that maybe stereotype of, you know, Pisces are very laid back, or they're very innocent, naive. But far from it. You guys are geniuses when you draw on your psyche, and also because you're very intuitive now, with having Neptune all there. So um, again, something that you're desiring about your job, that you're thinking over, uh, does either give a supporting aspect to Pluto and Aquarius, or Pluto and Aquarius is giving you that supporting aspect. So Pluto rules the riches of the underworld. He was the god of the underworld, small g. So think of minerals, golds, and diamond being in the underworld. Even the seeds we plant in the underworld, they sprout up to be very strong trees. So you have, like I mentioned, this hidden um, genius potential that Pluto will be cultivating to bring out in you. Okay. And it will definitely jettison you somehow regarding your job or income, or even maybe a business, maybe a creative idea, an entrepreneurship that is going to jettison you um, in value as well. Very, very exciting, Pisces. So think about that. And you are at your creative best right now, Pisces. Um, yeah, very exciting. All right, moving on. We then have, let me just do one thing. Okay, sorry about that. I had to clear my throat. Okay, then we have Venus retrograde in Aries, Kazimi. And Kazimi simply means in the heart of the sun. So we had this aspect before when Venus was direct. Um, so now the focus and the light is being shown on how you feel inside regarding a desire about your job and your income. Um, and there might be an authority figure here that is helping, or is behind the scenes, or in the forefront, and you are in focus somehow. All right. Um, then we also have here a last quarter moon in Capricorn. And this is important. This is the second to the last stage of an ending, of a culmination, of a fruition. So this is showing you the ending. And this is about a long-standing matter that is coming to a finale. Um, I won't go into the whole 18-year journey of what you've had to go through with Capricorn because I've done that. Sorry. I've done that ad nauseum and in many different videos, but it is about your groups, friends, associations, memberships. But it is also, the 11th house is also how your hopes, your visions, and your dreams of how you want to be seen in these groups, or in this outer parameter. And Capricorn rules government, structure. It rules tradition, uh, old money, like family tradition. It's a very stoic sign. It is a social climber. So that was in the mix. Your friends were very powerful people, maybe even in government or wielding that power. And they were teaching you and have taught you how to wield that power, how to any power plays, fear issues, or control. They helped you here. All right. In any case, like I said, I've discussed that at length before. But what this quarter moon is about is it's in reference to the new moon that we had in Capricorn back on New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and it is also in reference to whatever issue that still you had um, in Capricorn. So here is where it is coming to a finale. There's an equitable agreement between you and another party, or it may be just with you within yourself. But it's most likely between you and another, or you might be the mediator, and it might be between two others. But it looks like to be, like I said, fair for both sides. Um, there there is no like dispute. Everyone is losing to gain and gaining to lose, and there's an agreement here. The only thing left is whatever loose ends or paperwork that needs to be tied up. Um, because it's Capricorn and it's the last quarter moon, there might be a feeling of like melancholy or like feeling sorry somehow. And you're a very compassionate sign, but it's the moon. It's a fleeting feeling. It's a couple of days, but it's well worth having this release. Actually, this relief of being unburdened here. Um, yeah. Okay. So that is that last quarter moon, and then the sun this time in Aries will sextile Pluto in Aquarius. So first we had Venus retrograde um, in Aries, sextile Pluto in Aquarius. Now it's the sun sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. Um, and this is a little bit more serious because it's the sun. It's the most powerful planet, and Pluto takes no prisoners. Pluto also rules fear, secrets, the taboo, power, and control. Uh, and you have been busy in your 12th house, behind the scenes, or you're holding something close to the chest. I think I've mentioned this before, but yeah, um, you seem to find power in being still or being alone or even sleeping. Like you get this power boost. You are rejuvenated somehow. Uh, so what this is, um, it's it's a very it's still sextile, so it's a very supportive aspect, but it's powerful because it's both the sun and Pluto. And I mean, it's not a conjunction, it's not an opposition, it's not a square. But anytime the sun and Pluto come near each other, it's like uh, it can simply be that whatever's going on at work for you, whatever new thing, this fresh new energy that's going on regarding work, your job, or your income, or even your value system, um, you're getting some sort of like revelations when you're being by yourself, or again, maybe sleeping. I know it's funny. Please don't laugh at me, but life is stranger than fiction. But there is something there, or yeah, you're because when we sleep, we rejuvenate every cell in our body, and your psyche might be, or because it's the house of taking care of someone, you might be taking care of someone that's giving you an edge somehow at work. In any case, if there is an issue, okay, so this is what I wanted to say. If there's an issue, that's what I'm most concerned about. Is how you deal with it is you use discipline, self-discipline, and you're able to do that. You're the sign of the two fishes, so you can do one of your fish as a discipline, and uh, swim away the other fish. But yeah, using self-discipline and being still, acquiescing, being humble really helps with any power plays with Pluto. Alrighty, then we have now Mercury retrograde in Aries Kazemi. First we had Venus, now it's Mercury. And what I said about ignoring dates, this is the exception to the rule. Here, it is about just this one day. It's a one day type of deal. So mark your calendars for March 24th. So any rediscussions, renegotiations, re-agreements. So if you get any text calls, messages, any missed calls, call right away. Answer text right away. Emails, pick up on that. Have some type of urgency with intensity, because It is a 1 day deal, but it is a very rejuvenating, um, exciting, fresh uh, communication regarding your second house of job and income. So pay attention to this day, and as far as communications is concerned, because it is a marker. I mean, granted, it's still retrograde, so still have backup plans, yeah, because it might reverse, or again, um, it might be just a temporary obstacle. But at least your willingness to show like intensity and urgency will put you on good footing with your job and income. All right. Then we have Mercury retrograde in Aries that will sextile Pluto in Aquarius. So first we had Venus, then we had the Sun, now it's Mercury. So now the discussions, again, rediscussing, renegotiating, um, re-agreeing, um, something about your job and your income, and it's getting a supporting factor from Pluto in Aquarius. Uh, so this is researching or communicating any obstacles, any issues, um, but with the eye on the future because it's Aquarius as well. And you have hidden potential here. Remember, you have the potential of having a genius psyche, and Pluto will be cultivating that. But just watch your words, watch your communication, and how you may sound. But you actually do have a very nice gift of gab, um, and you are protected too because you are co-ruled by Jupiter. But just again, if there's any power plays, um, be humble. If there's any fear involved, fear tactics, be disciplined. All right, we'll move on. Excuse me. So now we're coming to the very important part. First, let's discuss. This is midweek next week, going towards the end of the week. Let's first discuss Mars in Cancer, squaring Chiron in Aries. So you have been busy here since October, November, regarding Cancer. Cancer is your fifth house of love, romance, children, creativity, pets, and gambling. It can be like gambling in a casino or card gambling, but it is also the gamble on life we take. The fifth house is the house of fun, lighthearted romance. It's not a contractual, serious love house. Sorry, excuse me about that. Uh, and an issue, some kind of urgency arised back in October, and then there was an issue, and you've been working to resolve that. And you have been steadily seeing some um, resolutions here as Mars has turned direct, and it is picking up speed every day. So again, here it's and Cancer also rules natally the home, family, and parents, and especially the mother. So that might be in play, just to give you that a little bit. And it is squaring. A square is a tense aspect, and bringing us up this wound, this hurt of the past. It's a past wound, past hurt in your Aries related house. So that's your second house of job. But what this is screaming at is you your value system. Somebody has treaded on your soul, sort of to speak. There has been some kind of, yeah, uh, somebody has made the mistake of uh, impacting you negatively regarding your value system. And it looks like it might be from a romance, a lover, or a child, or an adult child, or it can be a matriarchal, maybe your lover's mother or female figure there. But yeah, it has stirred up this old wound regarding your value system, um, Pisces. Now, how do we heal from a Chiron type of a wound? Well, Chiron was, yes, the wounded healer. He received a wound that would never heal, and he was given the option to either live with it forever or just to pass away. And he chose to live with it forever. But how he dealt with it is he started teaching about um, how he got embroiled in it, how he received the wound, what was his responsibility, what was the other's responsibility, and so on. But he was a maverick. Uh, he was sort of cunning, unique, and he took a maverick approach of teaching it so that his pupils were enthralled. And that made his wound bearable, and actually not heal, because it never heals, but he was able to, yeah, find compassion and heal in it somehow. Why I'm saying all this is because uh, for you guys, I know it's lit up with something you're hurt about your value system. How you and it's so funny, not funny, funny, but uh, ironic, because this is how you value yourself. The second house is how you value yourself. The eighth house is how other people value you. So again, we go back to this mirror concept. Uh, it's how you treat yourself that others will treat you. Um, and and it's not about the job you do or the service you do. It's about, yeah, how you value yourself. And with Pluto and Aquarius in your 12th house and your psyche, you're going to have this confidence of valuing yourself the way you should. But in the interim, and with this, what it's saying is use a maverick or a unique way of healing this wound. I'm not going to go too much on because I'm way past, but you're intuitive and you can catch this. But if you have any confusion, you can leave it in the comments. So that aspect there. Then the moon enters your sign, okay? Uh, and Venus is retrograding now in Aries at 00 degrees and is about to retrograde back into your sign. And she does the next day and immediately conjuncts Neptune in your sign at that very important last 29 degrees, 54 minutes. Oh, so now we have the moon, we have Venus retrograde, the North Node, all conjuncting Neptune in your sign, Pisces. This is huge. Throw in the kitchen sink too. Oh, I'm so sorry. You gotta laugh because I'm you know I'm going through these same changes as you, so uh, I'm kind of having fun with it. So yes, this is very, very dreamy, very romantic, very mesmerizing, um, very desirable. And Neptune is obliging and embalming everyone and everything around us regarding your image, how you are seen. You are going to be that dreamy, um, that that desirable. I mean, Venus is still retrograde here, so if there is any confusion, that would be the other side of it. It might be confusion about an illusion of your vision of the way you appear. On the other side, on a more hurtful side, might be being um, being at war within ourselves. So you might be like, struggling within yourself regarding your image or how you are seen. Okay, but there's two things here. One is, what this is signifying is that um, we are going either back to someone or something that was not, uh, air quotes, good to us, or a what's that word? A not very healthy situation. And I'm not talking about like an abusive situation or something, really dangerous like that. No, 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 no. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking like a not good situation. But we are being compelled to do that because there is something there that still needs resolution, that still needs our attention. It's like having thrown out the baby with the bathwater. So there's a compelling reason to go back to the situation and save that baby. So there's somebody there that needs your help, or it might be your own self that needs to be saved in somehow, uh, your own sense of self. But it is temporary as well, uh, because once you do go back to whatever it is that you're going back to here, it is again not to be there forever or fix that world, because there is no world to fix. That world has ended. It has been demolished, sort of, and in keeping with the allegorical theme of Neptune, the deluge has come and just dissolved everything. You are no longer able to make yourself small or sacrificed in that capacity anymore. You don't fit there, and it is just to save that fearful maybe kid within yourself, to pull that psyche out of there. And it is only when you are immersed completely in that you will feel that compassion, that you will be able to forgive, yes, others, but again, since this is about your image, it's even more crucial that you forgive yourself for wanting to um, have this image, this value system, for whatever reasons. It doesn't matter. And once Mercury and Venus begin going direct um, in your sign, you are just like this amazing butterfly that is coming out of this cocoon, fresh and then Mercury and Venus will go into Aries though, so the fresh, new, and fuzzy uh, uh, thing that's very energetic and very fiery. So it's a beautiful, beautiful sort of like the Sleeping Beauty um, story that you wake up to this brand new world, having gone through this transformation. It's very healing. It's very cathartic, and it is necessary. And the universe is also approving of this because it's holding the door open for us to step back temporarily and save that component and come back. And we can see that in the news with our own government as they, get rid of agencies or structures that are not useful anymore, not efficient. But we can also see they're going back and saving some part of it or rehiring some employees that are important. So that's just an example, but on a personal level, that's what's going to be happening. And then the second thing is, if you remember, I told you this is like a movie trailer of what'll happen the latter half of the year. If you listen to the March scope and February scope, it really details it out. That's what Venus and Mercury is doing, and especially going back and forth. And Venus won't be bothered, and this is a rare retrograde for Venus, so it is very important. So this is giving us a movie trailer of what will happen the latter half of the year as all these planets will be retrograding back in the previous signs. So then it's that forgiveness that floods us, and we are able to again either reconcile or console or wrap things up in a humane way, in a compassionate way, and we are able to grow from it. So yeah, I beat that dead horse pretty well. All right, moving on. The moon then enters Aries, and this moon entering Aries will the next day be a new moon partial solar eclipse in Aries. Wow, Pisces. So this is the new opportunity that you have been waiting for regarding your job, your income, and your value system. Um, and it is semi squaring Uranus and Taurus, so it might come as a surprise or a shock, and it might be because you're so immersed with all this retrograding back and forth and this whole compassion and Neptune and the 29th degree, and this new opportunity is knocking at your door. But it's you were aware of it, it's in the background, but it comes with some sort of a surprise. But don't worry, it's not something that you'll lose. It's an eclipse, so it's an unfolding uh, story and opportunity that will gather in momentum and in size with um, with the culmination of it down the line a few months. Not meaning that it won't happen until a few months later. I'm just saying it's going to be growing. Uh, for some of you, it might be a few months down the line, but for most, it is. You're starting something new here with your job and your income and your value system that is going to slowly and surely pick up speed and strength. Remember, eclipses are like movie trailers. All right, and then Mercury then retrograde conjuncts Neptune in Pisces. Well, you're late for the party, Mercury. Just like Mercury, to be fashionable, you're late, right? We had all the party, all these planets in Pisces, and now you come strolling in. I'm joking. It's just only the next day. But yeah, now the discussions start. The discussions, renegotiations, re-agreements um, regarding something about your image and how you are seen, and this slipping back um, into taking care of something. So maybe discussing the parameters of that. All right. And again, this is all pointing to the end of the year as well. So take note. And then the month ends with Neptune. Sadly, I feel so emotional leaving your sign Pisces and entering Aries. Um, yeah, it'll be a very nostalgic, very melancholy departure. But at least the essence of Neptune is now embodied in you, you guys, yeah, Pisces. You guys are going to be keeping us on track with that. Um, so if you remember, I did mention that we will actually, and I said this specifically, we will actually be feeling more of that emptiness of Neptune and Pisces more than we will feel Neptune entering Aries, because it's the ocean, it's feelings, it's smooth. I mean, I know Aries is a sun sign, a fire sign, but Neptune is very smooth, so we may not even feel something like that. But yes, starting the 30th, we will start to have this longing, this desire, and for you specifically, it is about your job and your income. All right, Pisces, I hope I informed you, if not entertained you. And if you have any questions or if you're confused, please throw them in the comments. I do answer all the questions. Also, dreams. I interpret dreams. You're going to be having a lot of dreams, and you can certainly put them in the comments. We'll have fun with those, trying to explain those. Uh, but you are between eclipses also. The weird stuff happens between eclipses. So synchronicities, pay attention to that, because the veil is lifted also with that. And I might be dropping a standalone video on the solar eclipse in Aries, because I really don't think I gave it justice, uh, for next week, as well as I'm working on your April scopes. So I always hate to end these, especially with you, Pisces. It's like throwing my baby off. All right. Yeah. Take care of yourselves. I will speak to you soon.